Hello and welcome to the south of Sweden for rounds 4, 5 and 6 of Season 2 of the EERC British Touring Car Championship. My name is Edward Hunter and alongside me is, of course, Finnavon's very own Nick Homewood, who will be helping with broadcast direction today. So, Nick, we're here in, of course, Knutstorp, the classic circuit in, as I said, in the south of Sweden. Very narrow. Very technical, lots of banking and inclines all over the circuit. It's a real challenge for these drivers, and qualifying is going to be all important ahead of race number 1.
It is. It's going to be very difficult to overtake around here. Should we watch an onboard lap?
We can give it a go, yes.
5 minutes, let's do that.
So we're looking at Delhi at the moment for Paul Street Boys, going through the penultimate corner and now the final corner.
Oh dear, well that wasn't what I wanted to say. I think he's just been in the pits.
That's one of the Finnavons that's hit him in the back. Was that Hartley, potentially?
Okay, let's try with Roy Sifo, who's very nearly the fastest.
Yeah, second in the championship, second in the practice session at the moment, Roy Seifert, just making his way through the final sector now.
He's actually going for a lap.
Here we go, on to the main straight, and it's a very, very long run to the first corner, start curving, as Roy Seifert goes straight towards the pit wall. It's really hard to coordinate this. And that looks like Daniel Connor in the NL Racing. Number 55, independent. I believe they've been let into the race because a few ahead have dropped out.
Indeed, yep.
There's Luke Mitchell, of course, who had a pretty competitive opening in Thruxton. Kings Racing currently leading the team's championship on 87 points. They're about 30 points ahead of Hunter Birch Simulation, of course. But it'll be interesting to see, especially if Mia Rose can get into the server, how Hunter Birch Simulation will get on here with Mia Rose of maximum ballast. Luke Mitchell has got 39 kilograms due to being 5th in the championship on 31 points at the moment. But Mitchell, I'm sure, will be looking to catch up to Roy Seifert, his teammate, who's second in the points, 5 points behind Mia Rose. But here's Ryan Barrington-Smith, another for Logistical Nightmare Racing, number 74, as he goes through start curving and through Tunnelen, as he lets one of the other cars through. Now into Svaken, going back uphill into Tandstiffen before he approaches Compressionen, turn 7. Into turn 8, Venestra for Harmelen, turn before Harmelen.
Has made it into the set.
Hooray! There we go. The world champion, the reigning world champion, EERC British Touring Car Champion. It's not technically a world championship, although it does visit many places throughout the world, of course. Last time, 2 weeks ago, we were in Thruxton. Now we're in the south of Sweden. So we go all over the places. Oh, there, Barrington Smith dips a wheel on the grass and has a massive jump into the air over, that was just on the exit of Cabal Poston, which is, of course, turn 12. Is it turn 12? No, it's turn 11, of course. Here we go, back onto the main straight then, for that twisty and banked, inclined final sector. Barrington Smith stays 15th, so it looks like the Logistical Nightmare team have got a few nightmares to work out before they turn their race into a dream. But as you can see, practice coming to an end, and in 3 minutes we'll be getting qualifying underway. Roy Seifert has actually eclipsed the time set by Louis Hartley.
2:10, 59.2 is very quick.
Indeed, so Seifert looking very, very fired up in that Toyota Corolla for Kings Racing. And certainly Kings will be looking to extend their advantage in the Teams Championship. And Seifert will be looking to get the edge on Mia Rose. But of course, a couple of driver changes for the top 2 teams in the championship. Kings Racing, of course, have got legendary commentator and sim racer Jack Nichols in one of their cars, currently 7th at the moment. Here he is on track at the moment in the number 29, previously driven by, of course, Remco de Zoo at Thruxton. And now Jack, obviously very grateful Remco kept the seat warm for him, as it looks like there's another car in the way. That looks like one of the Toyotas, I think. Speaking of Remco de Zoo, currently driving for Hunter Birch Simulation in place of Alessandro Valente, of course, who's having internet trouble. Literally won't even... I said, how's it looking? And he said, it's not. Very quick answer. So it's a shame, because Valente was being done really well in Formula Sim Racing stock cars lately as well. A runner-up in one of the sprint races at Gateway. And then at Apple Valley, finishing in the top 8, despite being like 15th at the final restart, benefiting from a lot of crashes in front of him. But anyway, Dizu, as we saw, a very capable at Fruxton, finished, got 11 points, equal 12th with Gjorvad, his new teammate. Of course, is taking over from Louis Hesketh, who's defected to Team Iris, as we see qualifying surely about to begin any minute now, as we look at Nicole's sitting in the pit lane with all the other teams and drivers, as we just wait for the final laps to be... There we go. It seems like you're on the ball, Nick.
After the issues we had last time, spent a long time sorting them all out. We're there today.
There we go. A full grid, or almost full grid, I think, of 28 cars out there looking to get onto that all-important pole position ahead of race 1. Reminder, 3 races. Race 1, the grid for that will be based on qualifying. Race 2 will be based on the results of race 1. Race 3 will be a complete reverse grid from last to first. So race 3 is going to be a bit very interesting indeed when we get to it in a couple of about just over an hour and a half's time, I think.
Just a reminder that the qualifying session is private, so you'll only see one car at a time. They can't see each other. So it's just all about getting that lap in without any interference from anyone else.
Yes. Interestingly, according to statistics from practice, top speed, the best top speed in the speed trap, I believe at the end of the start-finish straight, was 214.8 miles per hour by Alessio Ardito, of course, our independent driver.
Miles an hour?
Sounds like we've been joined by a third commentator. Hey, it's Joshua Birch, who joins us now, just as qualifying begins. And Igor Studniarek in the SZ Racing Infinity Q50, going around through the middle sector here. And just watch at the moment, Josh, you'll see him going over the jump any second now at the exit of turn 11. Over he goes. And we've seen quite a few people fly much higher than Igor did just then.
They are the wind beneath my tyres.
I didn't know you were driving too. It's all the commentators taking part in this race. As you see, Jack Nichols, of course, joining for King's Esports. Studniarek starts his first lap in the 66. SZ Racing had some, let's see how they did in Fruxton. I believe Studniarek, as he goes through the first sector just now, don't believe he got any finish. Oh, no, he did. He's 8th in the championship on 19 points. I did think so. He's just in the top 10 after a few decent finishes. I believe he finished quite well in the first 2 races. Not sure he quite benefited in the reverse grid. But Studniarek going through turn 10 now, that hairpin, which could be one of the overtaking opportunities in the race, along with turn 1. Been trying to learn all the Swedish names, by the way, Josh, as we see Studniarek go through Kavalposten, turn 11, over the jump into turn 12 of Gryden. And then this is the incline bank in the sort of final sector, which is Bakken, the banking of Bakken.
Really tight circuit, isn't it, already? So we're going to see a lot of accidents at the last couple of corners, aren't we?
Indeed.
Nick, did you choose this one just for pure chaos? Or?
Well, it was the closest I could get to Knockhill. We didn't have that in the game when I made the calendar.
Ah, very good point. It is like Knockhill, isn't it, actually, looking at it? So,
Mia Rose goes fastest, 15.2.
Oh, there we go.
Hartley goes fastest, and then
is it a private session for all these drivers? By the way, they're not all on track at the same time in each other's games. I did assume that because the live timing is completely gone on mine.
I haven't even got the live timing.
My microphone was muted.
Yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, although it's 1080p 60 FPS through Discord, it's very pixelated, the timing graphic, compared to what people can see on stream. So I'm going to get the YouTube stream out and sort of react delayed to the any laps, because that's the only way. That's the only way for me to keep track, unless maybe RaceView might have them.
No, we haven't got RaceView.
All right, well, okay, that's a non-starter then. Anyway, we're still looking at Louis Hesketh then, who for a long time topped the practice session, had a bit of a difficult run in Fruxton, qualified on the front row, couldn't make the start in race 1, had to fight through the field, had a decent race 3 though, and that's allowed him to be 10th in the championship. He crosses the line now. Where will this put Louis Hesketh? He's starting his lap, of course.
Oh.
So.
Other Louis as well.
It's the other Louis, yes. It's the guy who's defected to, of course, Scuderia Moreria.
It's Iris.
Which is effectively Team Iris, as Nick is alluding to. As Studniarek returns to the pit lane in 12th position. We have Stefan Nilsson watching in chat at the moment. 3 people. I should really post it to social media somewhere, the race stream. But anyway, it's looking like top 3 at the moment. Seifert, Hartley, Rose. So Mia Rose, despite missing pretty much all the practice except for the last 5 minutes or so, back roughly on the pace. And the reigning champion looking to challenge Hartley and Seifert ahead of her.
Bear in mind, Mia's got 75 kilos of ballast as well.
Yeah, that is quite a lot down the back straight, especially.
Ooh, big jump.
Whoa!
Yeah, really through the first sector there in the sort of S section. Of course, Svaken, Tandstiffen and Kompressionen. That's a really challenging change of direction as we see Studniarek going through.
Studniarek, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It just keeps dropping back, but Mia Rose P3 at the moment, reigning champion.
Yeah, purple middle sector there for Mia Rose, so looking very, very quick. Over the jump, whoa! Has to really get all that ballast being thrown in the air. This is like watching an elephant on roller skates here, in a way. But Mia Rose somehow is able to get the lap time out of it. Cuts to the inside to make the line as short as possible towards the timing beam, and it's provisional pole position for the Australian.
Can't even see where Jack Nicholls is at the moment, because I do know he's quite a quick racer. P9, great. He is a very keen racer as well, and he's very, very fast.
Big touring car fan as well, of course.
Yes, yeah.
All different forms of touring car. There's something even commentated on GD racing back in the day as well as Formula E and Formula 1, which is probably more well known for these days. As there's Hartley in the Affinabond green car, looking to get back on song with Mia Rose as the Scottish driver. Here we go into start curve, and then needs to start the... Yep. Oh, and this is where my stream... There we go. A little bit wide into start curve, and has to have a few goes turning in that front wheel drive for some of these longer radius corners. A little bit tricky, but into the hairpins, the technical section, you might think that the front wheel drive... goes 2 wheels and onto the grass. So Louis Hartley losing control of the vertical and the horizontal all at once there. So he'll have to have another go at that as Roy Seifert powers towards the line to start his next flying lap in the 89 Kings Esports car. And as I said, big constructors battle between Kings Racing and Hunter Birch Simulation. Of course, the team owned by myself and Joshua Birch. So Nick will be the unbiased party. Although I guess he's got a bit of bias towards Finnavond, who are third in the points at the moment.
We can have balance. As Seifert, 2 tenths up in the first sector.
Yeah, this is very good through that opening snake section then. Oh, and it lets the rear drift out through the 90-degree left-hander into the hairpin of Harnalen. Of course, the turn...
Over the hill.
Turn 8 is a Venestra for Harnalen, which is turn before Harnalen. And then turn 10, is Venestra after Harnalen, turn after Harnalen.
Are you feeling all right?
These are the official names. Here we go. But here we go towards the end of the lap then. Not a great middle sector for Seifert. Down a little bit on his best. Towards the timing beam he goes, and he remains second. Then somebody jumped up the timing beam though.
It was
I believe it was
before.
Jack Nicholls. Oh, there we go. Great lap then by the Englishman, just beating Alessio Ardito, who currently leads the Independence Championship in the number 27.
Warned you, don't discount Jack. Got very, very quick.
Yeah, here we go. The Jack attack incoming then. 59.051 Mia Rose's pole position time. So everyone in the top 10 looking very competitive right now. Everyone down to Luke Mitchell, of course, in the other Kings Racing car.
He also has quite a lot of ballast.
He does, yes, being in the top 5. Jack Nicholls, of course, missing the first round. No ballast whatsoever on his car.
Kyle Benton, second place.
Oh, yes, Benton was another one who, for logistical nightmare, I believe, who was really impressing in the practice session 30 minutes before the start. As Nicholls just going over it's always a roller coaster ride through that final 2 corners, isn't it, Josh? And there we go, is that pole position.
For Hartley.
There we go,
Hartley,
great lap by Louis Hartley then. And the checkered flag is out, so Mia Rose needs to get it together now if she wants pole position then. Of course, was on pole in Thruxton. Could still repeat the feat if she gets sectors 2 and 3 right. Kicks up a little bit of dust at the hairpin. Through turn 11 she comes, and over the jump,
Oh,
it's
just
down in the middle sector. Oh, she flies up, but the ballast holding her down. And I think Mia Rose might be have to be content with second place and just hang on to the front row here. But let's see what everyone else does as well. Mia Rose powers towards the line now. It's do or die here. What's it going to be for the reigning champion? Second. There we go. So missed out by 0.0081.
So close. Valencia, jumps up and fastest sector 1 as well. But look at that, he's done a Latifi, fast sector 1, okay sector 2, poor sector 3.
And he'll kill me if I don't mention the fact that it's his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to Mario then. And certainly Valencia was a real factor in Fruxton and once again sneaking into the top 5. As he did, I think it was top 5 or top 6 in Fruxton as well, so in qualifying. But certainly some big surprises. I think Benton getting a lap together in third is going to be quite a factor. Nichols on his first appearance in there we go, in 7th. So, Josh, would you like to take us through the qualifying grid order?
So, grid order. Louis Hartley is on pole position. Mia Rose is second. Carl Benton goes into P3 as my timing screen goes really tiny. Roy Seafeld is in 4th. Mario Valencia 5th. Chris English in 6th. 7th for Jack Nichols. 8th for Alessio Andre as well. Ryan Barrington as well. I believe Smith is the last name, isn't it? We discussed last time, thank you. Remco de Zoo is 10th, rounding out. Luke Mitchell goes 11th. Igor Svendundrik as well goes 12th. Shaz Bollocks Angel goes 13th as well. And that is where my timing screen goes so tiny. So I'll let you go through it, Nick, as well, because I know you're breathing.
Has given up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can at least tell people the rest of the qualifying then. So, as you say, I believe it is, according to my live timing, Remco de Zoo 9th, Luke Mitchell 10th, Igor Studniarek 11th, Adeli 12th, Stan Gjorvad in the new Hunterbird Simulation Drive 13th, James Smagersgale just behind for Scuderia Moreira Iris. I'm just going to call them that now, in 14th. Niall Bullion for Logistical Nightmares 15th. Adam Ziola 16th for SZ Racing. Jack Vermeulen high up there in the points, but down in 17th on the grid. Chris Hood right behind him in a Scuderia Moreira entry. Paul J. Venter is 19th. Anthony Wilson 20th. Peter Schumann 21st. Sean Schute 22nd. Lee Bullion 23rd. Dave Young 24th. Dan O'Connor 25th. And bringing up the rear is Neil Greening for Logistical Nightmare in 26th.
Yeah, it was a logistical nightmare qualifying, wasn't it, coming through there?
Yeah, Neil Greening quite a way behind, about 1.8 off of Daniel Connor in front of him. But Connor, pretty good at 101.7. So the entire grid, everyone apart from Neil Greening, about 3 seconds apart, I think.
Yeah, Neil Greening only got the call to race about 10 minutes ago.
Okay, well, there we go. Great to have you aboard, Neil. Welcome aboard the crazy train. He's going to be right at the back of it, looking to take advantage. Let's hope he's a quick learner.
Straight to the race.
Oh, there we go. So the grid will be warming up. Oh, the grid will be forming up, to be more accurate, in the next few minutes or so. A bit of a discussion about fuel loads in the Hunterbird Simulation Discord chat, because a couple of people think they're wondering, I shouldn't say anything, just in case anyone else is doing their fuel loads at the moment, listening into this, getting ideas. But Dizu saying, shame I was up 2 tenths, but he will still start in the top 9, I believe. So Dizu actually has got a pretty good place to start the race from. There we go. Looking at the grid materializing, there is Dizu in the 82, filling in for Alessandro Valente. And
love that name. Absolutely do.
Yeah, a lot of the guys have great names. I love James Smagersgale because I can give him the nickname. Oh, here we go. So the light's about to go on then. And Louis Hartley leads away at Knutstorp, and Mia Rose alongside on the outside as they go into start curve. Who is going to get the inside line is still going to be Louis Hartley, but Mia Rose tries to turn in. They both bump into one another, and somehow Mia Rose is going to come out just alongside as they go through the S's. One of them's going to have to give way here, Josh, and Mia Rose gets pushed off into the grass by Louis Hartley, but slots back into second position, and that's one of the King's cars behind us. Roy Seaver, Mia Rose tries to go round the outside into the 90-degree left-hander, and now they approach the hairpin. Mia Rose will try and go for the inside line here, and she takes the lead. Wow.
And look at on the inside, Roy Seafer, Carl Benting all trying to find a way through as well. Louis Hartley's going to start dropping back big position.
Wide.
Wowzers, at this track as well. Surprise.
And now over the jump they come.
Oh,
This
right.
is going to be interesting.
Hold on to
And
your
then,
hats, everyone.
Mia Rose somehow flies highest despite having 75 kilograms of ballast. But everyone seems to made it through okay. No big dramas here on the first lap
I'm
then.
surprised at that.
Well, yeah, we did have a couple falling back mid-time, but they've all just about kept through. Hartley then coming down across the line,
bad.
to fourth.
First lap for Hartley then, from pole to fourth then, and holding on from Mario Valencia just behind. But it is Carl Benton up to second for Logistical Nightmare, being the biggest challenger right now to Mia Rose, with Roy Seafer in tow then. So 3-horse race up front. Carl Benton gets very sideways. This guy's not hanging around, is he?
He's not.
Properly pushing as hard as he possibly can.
Nichols overtakes English.
Oh, great move then by Jack Nichols then to
but
get
he's
up
got-
into the top 6. Here we go. They're still alongside, and Nichols back down to 7th then as English, who did win race 3 in Thruxton, now starting to fight with Valencia ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm worried about Jackers because Luke Mitchell's just come up behind us. The two Kings Racing 29-21 now running together as a team as well. And we saw how quick they went at Thruxton. And look at Valencia bouncing everywhere to try and keep Jack Nichols behind.
There we go. Well, Valencia doing a man's job then, keeping the Kings Racing cars at bay and backing them, interestingly, into Dizu and Gjorvad, the other two Hunter Birch simulation cars.
Oh, look at this, down towards turn number 1. Valencia have to really push now as well.
English has got the inside. Oh, and just they're still alongside. You can really go side by side through this first sector, which I'm very surprised at. I was expecting more tears and tantrums than it may yet happen. As look at Nichols losing it behind and going side by side with his teammate Mitchell.
Mitchell's gone through, yeah. I mean, just a tank slapper there for Nichols as well. Mitchell went straight through. But I did see as well that Jack caught the side of the grass as well. So trail breaking in as well. The car's going to drift round on him. Bit too much.
Remco Dizu in the Hunter Birch simulation car, former Kings Racing driver, now looking to demote Jack Nichols another place here, isn't he?
Well,
So this could get very interesting. And there's Gjorvad right behind too, so it's all very interesting in the team's championship here.
Yeah,
as Mitchell tried. Mitchell challenging, and it looks like Adam Ziola in the barriers there for SZ Racing. So an Infinity Q50 has lost it there at what looks like the final sector.
Benton's trying on the inside again for second position.
So Benton's been passed then.
Rose looks up.
In the gravel trap. Yeah, it's all a little mistake then for Mia Rose, but luckily these two squabbling away. Seifert back into second then has allowed Mia Rose to hold on, as now Luke Hartley starts to close in on second and third.
Yeah, well, it's the team championship that I'm mainly thinking about as well, because Kings Racing are going to get some decent points here as well. Yes, Mia Rose for us is leading, but we've got Remco Dizu and Gjorvad as well down in 10th position. So they're mathematically, I think, just going to be on the same amount of points as us, with their 3 drivers in second.
Well, luckily
7th and
Mario
8th.
Valencia holding them up keeps Dizu and Gjorvad in the picture in that battle there for the points positions. But Carl Benton still pressing on as his Valencia trying to defend. And that looks like Luke Mitchell has got the inside on him then.
Yes.
And through into 6th position then. Valencia down to 7th. And now he's got Jack Nichols for company.
Yeah.
So this could get very interesting into turn 1.
And our boys are coming up too as well. But Nichols got a great slipstream now. Is he going to pull to the outside line towards turn 1? No. Again goes defensive. But Remco Dizu's got a little bit of pressure as well.
That's Gjorvad on the grass, and into the gravel goes Stan Gjorvad, and almost into the wall there. But somehow, and he's going to come back out in 13th, so a big mistake there. As Carl Benton back through. Roy Seifert put a wheel on the grass there. That was brave by Carl Benton once again through the S's.
I think Viornon as well also went straight on down the first corner. Valencia now just about holding back Jack Nichols, who's dropped back down to 8th position as well. But look at him. This is what I was talking to you about back in Thruxton. Jack is a very, very, very fine, quick race driver as well as a commentator. He's going to have some supreme stripsteam down towards turn number 1. Just biding his time, then he'll go through. He's not the driver that just sort of drops off. He can keep the pressure on lap after lap after lap.
Here we go.
We have push to pass as well. 10 seconds of push to pass every lap. So,
Jack Nichols mounting the curb like a madman to try and force Mary Valencia into a mistake, but he didn't get the greatest of runs, it must be said. And now Remco Dizu giving him a bit of trouble behind. Dizu, who vacated that seat as Nichols goes very wide in the gravel, and through goes Remco Dizu into 8th position, and Nichols down to 9th.
Okay, he clearly wasn't listening to Jolyon Palmer when he keep telling him there has to be alert, but still.
It's not a street circuit.
That's probably right.
People have been describing it as a karting track. I think it's a Swedish touring car track that also hosts rallycross.
It's so small. I can see where the rally cross goes off actually on this circuit.
But anyway, Luke Mitchell starting to pull away as Remco de Zoo gets alongside Mario Valencia in the battle for 7th then. But Mario Valencia holding him off for the time being. And Luke Mitchell has now got to chase after Chris English, who's holding on to 5th. So this is actually turning into a good day for gravel trap racing. Carl Benton 2nd, Chris English 5th at the moment.
Oh, this is the final corner. I can't understand how that corner is even legal. It's like a combination between Turn 8 at Baku and the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. Incredibly tight and incredibly steep drop.
Yeah, I've heard it compared to the corkscrew many times, but hopefully we don't see any kind of Alex Zanardi style off-track passes, because I'm not sure those will be legal, as Benton defending 2nd place, but he's now over 3 seconds behind Mia Rose, who's still been setting laps in the 59s, 1 minute sort of bracket. Last lap 1 minute 06, Benton 1 minute 09, Roy Seifert 101.0.
It's getting very close now as Benton again just tries to find some more
English
power.
is starting to get involved in this as well on the back of Hartley. So we got a monster battle for 2nd, and then another big battle behind with Mario Valencia for 7th. Indeed, 10 minutes still to go, and Mia Rose stretching out that lead, even with all that ballast. But there could be lapped traffic. Looks like she's coming on to Smaggersgale last in the race in 26th position, and she'll be lapping him before too long.
Actually, Neil Greening's in there too, so they've dropped back massively in that little battle as well, as Valencia leads the train down from 7th below as well.
Here comes Remco de Zoo. Is he going to try it inside?
Mitchell, sorry to crash. Mitchell locked up and nearly did what Jack Nicholls did as well. Snagged the outside left brake and just went nearly straight on. He managed to hook it up there in the second part of the corner.
Yeah, and Gjorvad gets past Jack Vermeulen for 12th behind. But it looks like that Toyota Corolla, the way the King's racing drivers have set it up, it's not the easiest through that first corner, is it?
I just hope the boys are having a lot of fun out there as well, to stay in with it as well, because this is a lot of fun to be watching as well up here in the comms box.
Yeah, I assumed it'd be more follow the leader, but it seems like some of these drivers have got other ideas.
Well done, Nick. It is like Nokia. Well done.
There we go.
I was a bit nervous coming into this day. It was going to be an absolute wreckfest, but it's going okay so far.
No, that's a different game on PlayStation.
I was just thinking, I've actually got an Xbox, but
next season.
other consoles are available. So here we go, on to the start-finish straight. Valencia, Dizu, Nichols, the battle for 7th then. And is Jack Nichols going to try and break the toe? No, he's not quite able to. As once again, Luke Mitchell doesn't get the greatest of run and now has Mario Valencia for company. So this is now a battle for 6th as Nichols determined to prove his mettle, and he's been pretty quick in the past, as long as his teammate, who also has done a bit of very sim racing, Scott Mitchell-Malm, of course, who Roy Seifert, I think because he did so well in Fruxton, Scott Mitchell-Malm is going, go on then, Roy, you stay in. Because I went to ask Roy when I was having a bit of driver availability trouble, as Nichols is now under attack from, it looks like a Studniarek right behind for SZ Racing.
Just is,
who we saw in practice and qualifying. As look at them fly over the jump, and Valencia flies too high like Icarus, and through goes Remco de Zoo for 7th position.
And look, Jack's find a way through now as well. It's going to have the now it just comes back to me straight down the start finish straight as well. Can he pull to the inside line to turn 1, take a wide line and try and get a great exit as well?
Yellow in the final sector, so something has gone wrong there. Looks like 20th position, which is Paul J. Venter for Logistical Nightmare Racing. And very, very wide there indeed for Paul.
Gone hiking.
He rejoins in 23rd position. It's Lee Bullion up the inside of who was that Lee Bullion was fighting with there? I think it was Ziola.
It was Ziola, yeah.
Ziola, who we already saw in trouble earlier, now going off track once again.
Does he have damage?
Yeah, suspension.
Well, that doesn't look easy to drive, either way you put it. The SZ racing car doing several Zs. As here we go, mistake in front of him. As Bullion in the wall in the number 58.
Yeah, so Bullion was out there for that instance at the first corner. Nothing they can do there. As Mia Rose laps them with 8 minutes to go. No, 6 minutes 21.
Here we go. Valencia, and that must be Studniarek side by side, and Valencia just holding on, but Jack Nichols is through, and now Dizu is starting to fight Luke Mitchell then for the top 6.
I would love to have a mic on Jack at the moment. Seems shouting with delight because he's been trapped behind Valencia the entire race already. And remember, the starting grid for race 2 is the same as results from race 1.
Good move by Chris Hood there to go all around the outside of Studniarek at turns 1 and 2
Benton
there.
just took a chunk of time out of Mia.
Yeah,
Oh
Mia's
dear,
had a problem
so
somewhere.
Mia Rose perhaps coming upon some traffic. Perhaps the ballast starting to finally affect the tyre wear. But I believe a lot of the drivers are on medium tyres. So, here we go. Boolean side by side with one of the
Those cars
SZ
are a bit
racing
of a
cars.
state, aren't they?
Yeah, there's not much left of these cars. They're looking like...
That's Adam Zalola.
Oh, Ziola then, just about holding on from Boolean. But Boolean causing billions of damage.
I don't know how this has happened, but my flip-flops have ended up on the wrong side of my feet. That's how much I'm moving around in the commentary box. Strangest thing.
It's been very exciting. Apart from, bizarrely, maybe Mia Rose, still 5 seconds in the lead over Carl Benton, who's holding off Roy Seifert to the tune of 3 seconds at the moment. Louis Hartley, another 3 seconds back. Then Chris English, only a second behind Hartley in the battle for fourth.
Mitchell and Desir having...
Oh, here we go. This is Chris Hood trying to challenge Valencia then for ninth position. He's got... 10th, sorry. He's got the inside through the S's. But
Nice.
wow. Chris Hood has really come alive in these latter stages of this race, hasn't he? The Irish driver number 13, that's certainly getting some good luck at the moment, as Luke Mitchell has got Dizu up the inside of him at the hairpin, and Dizu pulls it off. Brilliant move by Remco there.
Well, Remco's really having a time of his life out there, isn't he? He's enjoying every single second that this race is starting. And there's Luke Mitchell, P7 now. Jack's just behind him by the 2.3 seconds, as we said earlier on. And Jack's under attack.
From Studniarek, yes. As Jack goes through the banking once more. Studniarek. And let's not forget Chris Hood not far behind either.
This is the part of the race where the front-wheel drive tyres are going to start hurting.
Yeah.
Indeed. So Mia Rose may yet stretch out that gap out front. She laps 24th place.
Jack's got wide.
Oh dear. That's happening. You look at the timing screen, and through goes Studniarek, but Jack Nicholls is going to duke it out side by side through the S's and has to concede position there. The Toyota Corolla not quite having enough straight line speed or grip to hold on, but is Jack going to try again then? Into the hairpin. Is he going to dive it up the inside? Yes, Studniarek leaves room. You're cheering him on.
I know, it's bad, isn't it?
He's our bitter rival in the team's championship, if you've forgotten, Josh.
No, I haven't, but it's like, you can't not, as the commentary team, you can't not cheer on another commentator. It's quite infectious.
That's true.
We did the same with Tobias, we did the same with Tom as well, though we brought
exactly.
Tom
and Nick, of course, who's alongside us at the moment in the commentary.
Well, sometimes. Nick's never in a
when he's
winning
not fighting
position
our
enough.
cars, yes. But anyway, we're looking at Roy Seifert then holding on to third position. Looks like a Benton in the gravel trap racing guys just dumped him. I think gravel trap and Kings both using the Toyota Corolla, if I remember correctly.
Gravel trap are the Focus.
Forward Focus, sorry. There we go. I got that completely wrong. So thanks for correcting me there.
So in the top 5, we've got all 4 different types of car.
Brilliant.
Yeah, variety. That's the spice of life there. And then 6th place, it's one of our cars, so we're doing well.
Yes. Actually, Nick, I think this is the type of race you would have been towards the front in.
Whoa, that looks like somebody pushing it behind him. Is that one of the lapped Finn of Ons there?
It's the logistical... I'm not sure which one. There's quite a few of them.
Might be Paul J. Venter.
I think it's Sean Shute. Look at my driver tracker. 24's directly behind him.
Looks like Jack Nicholls has not given up trying to get past Studniarek for 8th position. 9th will still be a good couple of points though. But, as we see someone dropping down the order, and DNFing, it's Ardito. Alessio Ardito retires from the race then. Big drama there for the number 27, and that's going to...
Somehow, our only retirement.
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt him in the Independence Championship, of course. But Ardito, who was running just outside the top 10, that promotes, I believe... it's going to promote nobody, I don't think.
Race 2 and race 3 are done for him. That's the entire weekend damage.
Ardito is the only independent.
There we go. Everyone else has got signed up then. As you look at Mia Rose, only a minute and a half or so to go until she has got this one. I don't want to jinx it, but it's looking pretty unlikely that Carl Benton can overcome that 9-second gap at this phase, given the time left in the race and the lack of overtaking opportunity. Although I've been proved wrong on that, and here I'm about to be proved wrong again as Mario Valencia holding on from Studniarek. And is that Stan Gjorvad involved as well? Gjorvad recovering, trying to get back into the top 10. And through they go over the jump then. And Valencia has to give second best to Studniarek. And has to just cut to the inside over the jump, but goes wide. And Gjorvad up to 11th place then, as Valencia, his race, sadly, starting to crumble and decompose in front of him as he hits the grass.
Someone's gone off. Who's gone off?
Yeah, Hartley right behind. That looks like Remco de Zeeuw has got through into 5th, past Louis Hartley then. So the Finn Avon's really hard on their tyres then in that front wheel drive, and de Zeeuw taking advantage, as is Gjorvad and Studniarek in the rear wheel drive cars, as Mia Rose surely
English having a fight.
Oh, here we go, English, and is this Seifert that English is passing then for third position? Roy Seifert holds the inside as they go over the jump. Once again turning across, and he makes the same mistake. Chris English onto the podium for Gravel Trap Racing, and that's de Zeeuw right behind as well. So Seifert's really going to have to defend on this final lap then, as we're about to run out of time.
Great news for us in the Constructors' Championship. So.
Indeed, but the race isn't over yet, Jack.
Yeah.
Josh, through comes Mia Rose.
This will be the last lap.
Do you want Jack Nicholls in the box? I'm happy with you.
No, it's confusing because all those times fantasizing about commentating on Jack. Nah, I don't do that. Anyway, Mia Rose comes through the final. Here's the other fantasy of one of my drivers winning the race coming true. Yes. The clock runs out then, and just the hop, skip, and a jump to go for Mia Rose, and she nails it completely. And now 2 more corners to go. Amir Rose is going to make it, 3 out of 4 wins then by winning the opening race here at Knutstorp in Sweden. Here she comes. Victory goes to the likeable Australian. And here comes Carl Benton, who himself has done an excellent job. But Roy Seifert loses that 4th position to Remco de Zeeuw. De Zeeuw is through. And through they come to the line, and Seifert will be diddly disappointed because that's crucial points for Kings Racing, lost in that opening race. As Louis Hartley trundles into 6th from pole position, he'll be looking to make amends in race 2.
Well, I was saying it's all done and dusted with that, with Kings Racing having better points than us. Our guys came back and got a great result. Well done.
Race, though.
That's brilliant. And we've got 2 more.
Indeed. Is there a bit of a Ziola and Vermeulen in a battle? Vermeulen.
Contact!
That's Valencia being attacked by one of the ZS racing cars.
I think he got on the grass.
That's Ziola. So Vermeulen got through into, I think, 12th position there. So good final lap by Jack Vermeulen then for Logistical Nightmare Racing.
Is that Jack Nicholls in the gravel trap just plugged it into the wall?
Yeah. And
yes,
I have to admit, Seifert dropping off at the end there, I saw him set 59.8, fastest lap of the race early on, and I wondered, is he taking too much life out the tyres? And I guess we got our answer there, didn't we? But there we go. Shall we go through the final results then, as the final few runners cross the line then?
The overlay isn't working, so you'll have to do off live timing, I'm afraid.
Fair enough then. So, victory for Mia Rose, Hunter Burt Simulation number 1, extends that championship lead. Kyle Benton gets some great points under his belt from his teammate Chris English. So, Gravel Trap Racing 2-3 in this race. So, brilliant race for them. Remco de Zeeuw has to miss out to the 2 Gravel Trap focuses, but still gets 4th place for Hunter Burt Simulation after starting 9th, I think. So, that's a really good race for Remco de Zeeuw. Roy Seifert drops to 5th by the end. Disappointment for Kings Racing. Louis Hartley 6th for Finn Avond after starting on pole position. Luke Mitchell finishes 7th, so Mitchell sort of held on there for some decent points. Chris Hood comes from seemingly nowhere to 8th for Scuderia Moreria. Jack Nicholls finishes 9th on his first start in EERC British Touring Cars. And the top 10 is rounded out by Igor Studniarek for SZ Racing. So a good couple of points for Studniarek. Gjorvad in his first race as a Hunter Burt Simulation driver. Despite that mistake, still recovers to 11th. Jack Vermeulen is 12th ahead of Mario Valencia after that battle near the end. Ziola just missed out after going on the grass to Valencia. He finishes 14th. Peter Schumann is 15th. Skazbolik Zardeli is 16th. Anthony Wilson 17th. Daniel Connor 18th. Lee Boolean 19th. Paul J. Venter 20th, James Smaggersgale 21st, Dave Young 22nd, Sean Shute 23rd, and Niall Boolean 24th ahead of Neil Greening and the sole retirement, Alessio Ardito. So there we go. Just about got through it before the timing disappeared to get ready for race 2. So there we go. Mia Rose will start on pole once more then for race 2, which is great news for her and disastrous news for everyone behind her. But Gravel Trap Racing, you would think, would fancy their chances. They looked Benton looked mighty out there, as did towards the end Chris English.
This is going to get more entertaining before it gets worse, which is great.
Well, race 3 is going to be very, very interesting, to put it mildly.
We've got 10
when we see the
minutes
reverse grid.
before the next race, just to set the grid and give everyone a chance to catch their breath and have more alcohol or something.
I like the assumption that they've already had alcohol before. But I decided not to have alcohol before getting in the comms box, but I imagine the racing drivers are not under the same. Their voices won't be under the same scrutiny.
No, they've all had cocaine or something just to explain all that speed that we had in that previous race.
I'm not going to go around accusing people of substance abuse here. Some of these people are reputable sim racers / commentators, Josh.
That's a very good point. Yeah. I mean, I still think it was a missed opportunity to not do the 24-hour commentary where we just start off like Terry Wogan used to do on the Eurovision Song Contest. Start off with a full bottle of brandy. Just by the end of it, it's all gone.
Wow.
That would have been more fun.
So apparently Remco de Zoo was on softs in that first race.
Blimey.
And the front tyres looked very worn, 43.28 it was looking like.
The heel swap from
By the final.
heel swap from softs to hards then.
It sounded like Mir was on the mediums, and I think Stian kept on the mediums as well.
I'm not going to say what I was about to say, so I'm glad to stop myself.
Yeah, I thought I'd not reveal what they did before race 1 because that would be very incriminating, and everyone else would have a chance to change. It's like whenever it rains or there's it's going to rain and people like take a gamble on tyre choice.
Do we know if anybody ran with hard tyres in that first race?
The front-wheel drive cars will have all run with hard tyres.
Oh, well, there we go. We did see during some of the testing, Remke de Zoo was telling me that the hards really drop off at the end of the stint somehow, and that basically it was pretty similar. The lap times weren't as good, but the tyre life was pretty similar to the softs, bizarrely. And I think it's literally just because of the tyre temperatures, especially at the fronts. A couple of teams were sort of trying mixed sets as well, I think. Trying like softs at the rear, mediums at the front. So we'll see if that's worked out for anyone. I would bet Gravel Trap are doing something very clever because both their cars seemed really fast at the end there.
That's disappointing. I just looked in the Mumble chat at Kings Racing. Roy's the only one in there, and that's disappointing.
Well, it seems like everyone's been having trouble getting into Mumble, so maybe I'll have to go to Discord to do an interview with Mr. Nichols. Or he's probably busy. He's got some obscure other touring car. So I've got to do some race so I can then do some commentary.
Yeah, and Jack will be bouncing around everywhere, going from place to place.
Do you think he commentates on his own races as he's doing them?
Well, I know it's funny you mention that.
And I'm coming through to first.
Yeah, I know George Morgan commentates on his own races. He does.
You'd assume he'd be live streaming as well.
Yeah, I think George does live stream some of them, and I know he commentates on them. But I'm sure you could attend, Ed and Nick, as commentators. It would be it's quite hard sometimes not to do a bit of commentary.
Yeah, just having a brief look for Jack Nichols' Twitch stream, and I found Jack Nichols' TikTok page. Apparently,
he's got a TikTok.
I'm not sure if it's him. That's just what's happened. What's popped up here.
I
may have actually spelled Jack Nichols' name wrong.
Doing some sort of dancing in the commentary.
No,
box.
this is definitely not Jack Nichols, the commentator, because his profile pic says "keep calm and smoke weed."
Definitely not. Definitely not Jack Nichols.
It doesn't quite compute.
Oh dear.
Oh goodness. So
one day we'll get Jack in here for an interview and a commentary. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
He'll just take over. That's perfect. We should just get him in on get him in the Endurance Championship. Get him on here and then just leave quietly. Jack will do it. He'll just continue talking. It's what we do
for the 24 hours.
Yeah. Speaking of Mumble, by the way, I like how Peter Schumann has gone into the endurance GD3 Finnavon right at the very, very bottom of the server, away from everyone else.
He has, yeah.
Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing.
Do you reckon we should? Is anyone? You don't think Jack's in the Formula E, do you? Hang on, I'm just checking. No one's in that one.
No.
I was just double checking because you might have just gone there as a force of habit.
And while we're waiting, I guess we could talk about real Formula if you want. Maserati announced their drivers today. Obviously, they were going to sign Nick De Vries from the former Mercedes team. But Nick De Vries, of course, going to Formula One, so they've signed Maximilian Gunther, of course.
Good deal there with Gunther. He had a lot of potential. I don't think Nissan really helped him a lot with it.
Well, I think after he got dropped by Andretti because he was a BMW driver, essentially. So he sort of had to find a new berth, and Nissan sort of the only one available.
Was it
but yeah, Nissan have got two completely new drivers, haven't they?
Was it him and Sims who made contact in Marrakesh?
Oof.
Or was it DaCosta?
DaCosta was his teammate. DaCosta and Sims, you're thinking.
Yeah,
Gunther has...
Came in a year later.
I think Gunther had a big race against DaCosta at Santiago the season after.
Yeah.
Where Gunther came out on top because of energy management, temperature management, I should say, of the battery. Anyway, warm-up still going then as we look at Remco de Ziel, fresh off that top 4 position.
5 minutes.
Hey.
Almost tempted Remco de Ziel doing so well. Maybe we could, if Alessandro doesn't fix his internet, we could just ask Remco back for a few more rounds.
Yeah.
But Alessandro, of course, a very good driver in his own right. I think whoever we put in, I think we'll get results out. But I think de Ziel doing a very, very good job as someone who didn't really expect to race at all this today.
I'm getting more and more worried about this Constructors' Championship.
Well, we keep winning the races, and Remco certainly didn't do any harm there.
Yeah, I mean, that was an amazing comeback from everybody there. Hesketh's gone top as well. But I was just worried because these King Street boys... where did Louis Hesketh come out in that race? Because I can't remember him doing much of... I don't remember seeing much of him on stream. He was below, wasn't he?
Did I mention his name in below 20th or something? He might have been fighting with Smaggersgale and Young and that lot.
Yeah, I think he was quite far down, wasn't he? I think it was 18th
not dead
below.
last, but just
there.
interesting to track the progress of my former driver. Of course, he was Plan B. Liam Rance was Plan A. Louis Hesketh was Plan B. Gjorvad was sort of Plan C, and then Remco de Ziel is Plan D. So we're in sort of Ferrari strategy levels of driver management.
We've got such great names as well in this series as Hesketh. I want Louis Hesketh to have his own team and call it Hesketh Racing, just for the laughs.
We have got someone called James Hunt.
Really?
Well, actually, my middle name is James, so it's Edward Hunter, Edward James Hunter. So people just call me James Hunt. No, nobody calls me that. They don't know my middle
Ed's
name.
new nickname, Nick.
Yeah, I thought it would be weird. We had James Hunt as team manager and Hesketh as driver.
Oh God! That's even better.
Yeah, for Halloween, I made a pumpkin that looked like myself, and I sent a few pictures of it to everyone. And Nick was saying, "Oh, it's Edwardkin or something." What was it? I can't remember what Nick said.
Staffy, I think. Ed pumped her or something.
Yeah, and I said, and then Nick laughed at it, and I said, "Better than Nick Pumpwood" or something like that. Oh dear! Can you tell we're filling for time here?
Yeah.
We got 2 minutes left.
Hey.
I should probably work out the championship at some point. Let me know if my points gap goes to 1 race this round, says Mia. So let's see. So Seifert finished 5th. So points for... Let me go. I've got... Forget. I should actually set out what the points are.
Well, it's 20 for first, isn't it?
Yeah, 20 for first. I can't remember how many you get for...
18 for second, 16 for third, 14 for fourth. It all goes down to 1.
To 15th, yeah. So 5th, 11 points. So she gained... she was 5 points ahead. She gained 9 on Roy Seifert. Vermeulen didn't do well at all. I think... Vermeulen was like 12th in the end, so he'll get a couple of points, but not many. So Vermeulen will get 4 points. So she's getting 16 on Vermeulen. Ryan Barrington-Smith also didn't do too well. So I guess it's either... I think Seifert might still be in second overall, but I think Luke Mitchell may have got by Vermeulen and Barrington-Smith in the points table. Chris English will come up a lot, actually. He was on 20 points. And he'll be getting the points for third. So that'd be 15 points. 20 plus 15 will, of course, be 35.
Yep.
So I think that might put him almost level with Barrington-Smith. I think still got 1 point in that final race. The first race, it's not the final race. We're not at the end yet. What am I talking about? But I believe certainly Kings Racing will have been closed in, but I think they're still leading the team's championship because they were 30 points ahead going in. And certainly getting the Gravel Trap boys in between has been a big help. So I think Gravel Trap might be third or very close to Finn Bond in the points now. So it's kind of a four-way fight now in the team's battle title. But Mia Rose looking very good in the drivers and sounding very confident too, it must be said, as... Ooh, are we about to get to the end of the 10 minutes then?
Well, that was a great fill, everybody. Should we do it again in about 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Fab.
Yeah. This reminds me a little bit, speaking of Formula E, because you can skip on that, reminds me of the duel thing where you have to wait ages in between the group stages and the duels.
Yeah, where's Jack? That's what I want to ask him, because maybe
we should contact Mario Franchitti.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would not pass up a chance to commentate on Jack Nichols messing around. Or not messing around, doing quite well, actually, as it happens. Top 8.
When's the next race?
Oh, there we go. Looks like the grid is forming up then.
Abu Dhabi. It'll have to be the race after. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's Brazil next, is it?
Brazil's...
Yeah, with all the political tension that entails. It looks like the grid about to set off then. Mia Rose on pole position from Benton alongside her. The light's about to go out. And we're racing again for race 2 at Knutstorp. And a great getaway from Chris English all over the back of Mia Rose. But it's Benton who's going to try and swing through around the outside. And Carl Benton takes the lead for Gravel Trap Racing. And a big crash behind. That's one of the ZS Racing cars. And another one of the Gravel Trap cars in the wall, I think.
Yeah, not a great one there. Everyone being ploughed off into the wall, and looking at it, it was now a bulletin as well, as you'd say. But look at Benton, down to second. Mia retakes the lead. She's
done it again, round the outside of the S's.
It's a new favourite overtaking position. That was fantastic.
Oh no! Oh, she gets collected by the pack as Gravel Trap takes the lead.
Oh, everyone's over.
And round goes Peter Schumann as well. So absolute chaos then into the hairpin. It's the hairpin of pain, everyone, as everyone struggles to rejoin.
It keeps going.
And that's Remco de Zeeuw off, as well as like 50 other cars. What an absolute catastrophe as Mia Rose somehow gets back up to 5th.
Oh, no, leave it, Nick, leave it. We're all fine, Everything's okay.
But it is English leading Seifert, Hartley, Valencia, Rose. Hesketh somehow gets into the top 6.
Red flagged it.
Because of the red flag there, I think.
Right, who wants to try again?
My goodness. That was a heart attack at the start.
They all just concertinaed into each other, and it wasn't just relentless as well. It was like somebody with one of those machine guns where the bullets, the turrets, just go at you, and everybody just darted left and right for cover. Mia Rose got collected by her own teammate. It was miserable. Let's try it again.
That's what I was expecting race 1 to be like, to be completely honest.
Always race 2 that gets stopped.
Good thing they red flag before the opening lap, so Mia Rose gets to start on pole position, I believe. Or, oh no, she'll actually start 5th, won't she?
Here we go again.
No, it's just the start.
Pole position.
Same grid.
Right, off we go then. And race 2 begins in earnest. And this time, Mia Rose gets a much better getaway from, that looks like a Benton alongside.
All this time, oh no, Benton has got the track, so is Rose, they're all drifting out one.
And through goes Roy Seifert into the lead for Kings Racing with Jack Nichols and Luke Mitchell in close pursuit. And is that Mitchell going alongside?
Nichols has hit someone.
It's Dizzy in trouble.
Oh, it's happened again.
This happened immediately.
Everyone's everywhere again. Oh, Jack, you've done it to Degrassi. Jack is back on the track, completely out of control. And he has been talking a lot to Sam this year.
Let's see if he maybe has a different opinion as we look at Studniarek trying to go around the outside of Louis Hartley. As we look at English, recovered into 5th position. Mia Rose still in 2nd, trailing Roy Seifert. So Seifert getting a much better run as we look at Studniarek at the back of a big battle with his teammate Ziola ahead of him, I believe.
Are we staying green this time, Nick?
Yeah.
Right.
So there we go then. So this is the situation. Seifert, 4th.
Another position.
Oh no, she's made a little mistake and through round the outside.
And off goes Benton!
Benton! I was almost said Fenton there.
Martin Brundle always uses ambitions above adhesion.
That's it, yes. And certainly the gravel not providing the grip that Carl Benton would have been hoping. Down to 6th he goes and into the clutches of the Finn of Ond. that's Peter Schumann, who's got up to 7th then. So it is Seifert 7 tenths ahead of Mia Rose. Luke Mitchell in 3rd, right behind Mia. And then it is Chris English 4th for Louis Hartley in 5th.
Dave Young's in the pit lane, by the way.
Incredibly, despite spinning, Gjorvad has got up to 8th somehow.
I think Lee Bullion is out of the race. So Lee's out, and
I believe Chris Hood didn't make the start either. Oh, no, Chris Hood failed the first start. He's in, actually in 17th at the moment, just behind Niall Bullion.
Nichols is making up positions very quickly indeed.
That's going to be right. Go on, Jack. Go on. He's going to have fun.
Yeah, 14th at the moment, just ahead of Neil Greening.
Let's check his steering. Oh, that's the wrong car.
Yeah, where's Jack? Here's Jack.
Okay.
Yeah,
there we go. Somehow, a miracle. Nichols emerges unscathed, and the Avenging Angel back for more.
And further back as well. That's Niall Bullion, the other one, going up the inside of... Is that Neil Greening up into 15th position? Last in race 1. Right back up now with all that madness.
Here we go.
Mia Rose takes the lead round the outside, but Roy Seifert holds her off and retakes that first position and backs Mia Rose off, and off goes Dan O'Connor at the S's, spinning around. But Roy Seifert holds on to the lead, and it is Luke Mitchell behind who's going to start to challenge Mia Rose here, unless she can get through.
Contact! Yeah, a little bit door contact. She tried to take the jump. That's going to leave herself vulnerable to Luke Mitchell. Mitchell's got a good one out the last corner, but Mitchell's under pressure as well from English.
That's English,
side by side.
Here we go then, down the main straight. English is going to go round the outside and retake the podium position. And Louis Hartley's licking his lips here. He's getting back in this. But up the inside, way too deep. Way too deep from Luke Mitchell there. And down to 6th he goes.
What has happened? What's everybody done? Is Valencia stabbing up the inside?
Oh my goodness.
And Jack's up to 14th place. He's holding off Neil Greening again. And they're all changing. Mia's holding on to the back of Roy Seifert as well. This is just insane. And Red Coat is up to 20th.
Oh my goodness. I don't know where to look here. As Luke Mitchell's holding off Louis Hartley behind. And Mia Rose trying to go round the outside, but gets blocked off once again by Roy Seifert. It's so difficult to pass here if you've got cars of similar grip and similar performance. And over the jump they go. And did Mia Rose get through? I don't think so. 0.2 behind. So she's going to...
Look at Nichols. He's passing with Valencia over the jump.
The auto director gave you your Lance Stroll moment then.
Yeah.
There we go. But Mia Rose still in the wheel tracks of Roy Seifert, but another brilliant move by Jack Nichols as he continues to gain up the order in rapid succession. And next up for Jack Nichols is Adam Ziola in 12th for SZ Racing. Always get it the wrong way around, the S and the Z.
Chris Hood is DNF'd.
Oh, there we go. I preempted Chris Hood's retirement there. Sadly, Mia Rose once again swarming all over the back of Roy Seifert like a bunch of angry bees in a beehive. And now once again, the outside line into turn 10 at the hairpin, and Roy Seifert yet again holds her off. And now Chris English fancies getting involved in the battle. Mia Rose once again stranded on the outside, needs to make sure the gravel trap racing car doesn't... Oh, here we go. That's brave and almost through. And off the track they both go. And Mia Rose barges her way through with that 75 kilograms of ballast and retakes the lead.
And look at English now right up behind Roy as well as they come through. Roy made a mistake coming into the last corner. He's going to be slow. Look at the advantage. Mia Rose has got down the start finish.
I wonder how much Roy Seifert has taken out of his tyres in this early phase of the race then. Yeah, but Mia Rose got the fastest lap, 59.7 now.
Oh, anything else?
It's an 8-way fight for the lead almost.
There we go. Peter Schumann in 8th, by the way, holding off a train of cars behind him, as there is Benton desperately trying to get back into the fight for the victory with Gjorvad right behind him as well.
Well, we've had one restart, then it all happened again, and then this race has just been crazy. I mean, can we have this track every single race weekend, please?
Just wait for the reverse grid.
Oh my God! I mean, well, we've already. This is practically it, isn't it? As well. And then this, tell you what, that might actually advantage the of Jack Nichols, Zilola, Bullion as well, Valencia, who's now off the track sideways again.
I think Studniarek has hit trouble. He's dropped behind Nichols and Bullion.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's what's going on down there. But a little mistake from the ZS Racing driver. But yeah, we can breathe because Mia Rose is in the lead, not because the action's died down, Josh. Not at all.
That's
but
true.
It's far from over. It's Chris English, 0.5 of a second behind Roy Seifert.
Locked up. Roy locked up, and now English are going to have a great run in him as well. But Mitchell's playing shotgun as well, like Maverick and Goose, just trying to keep Benton behind him. Benton's got massively back up after running wide of the same part of the track. And look at Roy, he's completely nowhere.
And English up the inside, almost into there. He's done it! Brilliant move by Chris English. Now, can he hold on into the hairpin? Because Roy Seifert is still there. He could almost tag him round here. The King's cars go side by side. Mitchell and Seifert, third and fourth. But Chris English gets through.
A little bit of contact between the two Kings Racings as well. That's not going to be much love later on in the garage as well as they come back through. Diving up the inside. Benton's going to try and make the move on Mitchell as well. He's done him.
Oh, and Gjorvad is getting involved as well, right behind...
Mitchell stays ahead. Mitchell
and now
goes
Benton
off.
around the outside of Louis Hartley. And now he's got to run on Luke Mitchell as well. Mitchell holds the inside line as they go into start a curve. Who is going to come out on top here? I think Carl Benton... he's going to break late on the outside. And Luke Mitchell holds on, and Louis Hartley has a little nibble. But then things better up here. And there we go. So Chris English now up to second and free to chase after Mia Rose in that Ford Focus gravel trap racing car. 3.2 seconds the lead.
Yeah, while they've all been battling, Mia's made good her escape.
There we go. That was the plan, I guess, is to take it a little longer to pan out. The same thing happened race 2 at Fruxton where Mia Rose got overtaken by a Seifert, didn't she, at the start? Although we didn't have the abandoned chaotic start where Mia Rose got spun around.
I mean, I've just lost track. I mean, how long's left?
Just under 10 minutes.
9 minutes.
We're not even halfway yet.
Louis Hartley certainly hopes it's far from over. He really wants to gain ground here after finishing 6th in race 1. Here we go, right on board with Peter Schumann in the thick of that battle for 8th position with Vermeulen, who has got through. Vermeulen having a great recovery after his off-track excursion in race 1, and now looks like another logistical nightmare car. That must be Anthony Wilson.
Yeah,
Wilson!
That's going to be late on the brakes.
And Schumann hits the side. Somehow Peter Schumann is held onto that one, but Anthony Wilson, he's resilient if nothing else. He's holding on through the S's, and Peter Schumann will surely have to give way on the outside. And the doors touch, and through the grass, and goes, into the side goes Peter Schumann, out of control, and Wilson and Schumann in the barriers.
Well, to be fair, they're both used to doing that anyway. So
and it's all going. And Jack Nicole's still in the battle right behind them.
Jack snipped through on the inside, so he moves up.
I think he might have actually just lost a position to Ziola there because he's been battling with Ziola this whole race.
Lost a position to Gjorvad, who's drifting.
Oh yeah.
No, that's
he's right. Oh no, track's blocked.
Dear, Gjorvad is around, and that was a bit optimistic on Louis Hartley.
No.
Just looking for a gap there, and Stan Gjorvad gets going again in 10th. Right behind James Smaggersgale, who's actually had a really good recovery. Up to 8th now, past Ciola goes Smaggersgale. So Smaggersgale on a real run at the moment. Now, this puts Gjorvad almost alongside the... that's Neil Bullion, of course, right behind attacking. And Bullion is just held off as Gjorvad regains his composure after another error.
I haven't regained my composure.
I think there's very few people with their composure intact at the moment. Maybe Mia Rose, Chris English, but everyone else,
chaos.
it's all no holds barred. Just go for it. Really, Luke Mitchell now challenging Roy Seifert. I think Seifert, his tyre life really starting to struggle, and that's caused all this chaos behind, hasn't it? And Luke Mitchell now is going to surely set him up for a run down the straight, unless Roy Seifert's going to use team orders, because he's leading in the championship over his teammate at the moment. And they've got, of course, Carl Benton right behind, looking to make amends.
EERC goes off.
And there's Nicole's gaining from that up to 12th position then, as Staniarek continues to struggle. And now Peter Schumann's got for him as well. Remco de Zeeuw catching as well. He was, but down in 20th earlier. De Zeeuw's got up to 14th.
So, as I come back through, my turn to speak. Schumann just holding off at the front there as well, but Remco de Zeeuw, and I'm going to be interrupting myself because here comes James Smashgale as well coming through in a battle. But yeah, Remco de Zeeuw, by the way, don't forget, he was involved with that contact at the start of the race with Nichols and everyone else, and he just got back, and now they're all going to smash into each other.
Yeah, Ziola looked like he went off track there after overtaking Smaggersgale, and now Smaggersgale being attacked from Gjorvad behind him, who has several goes at love tapping from the rear. But Smaggersgale holds his line. Gale Force 1, we call him. But certainly, I think we're going to up to Gale Force 9 or 10 at the moment, because he's been flying out there in the 660, the Scuderia Morea. And once again comes Gjorvad in his Hunterbird simulation car. Now he's got the run on the start-finish straight as Schumann holds off the other Hunterbird simulation car. And now it's actually back to Dizu into Studniarek. Now Studniarek has got the inside, has he? No, he's got the outside, sorry. So surely Dizu just has to brake as late as he can. And, something happened there. Didn't look like they emerged, did they? Yeah, I was hoping Studniarek down to 15th, Dizu down to 14th. Now Nichols and Peter Schumann are through. So I think Dizu just about held him off there.
We've reached a single calm moment in the race. How long until it's shattered?
We're reaching the shatter point, aren't we? Mia Rose, 8 seconds now ahead of Chris English. She has been flying out there. And Chris English, as good as he is, we saw him win race 3 at Thruxton. He's got no response.
Oh, lock up for Bullion.
Oh dear. And that lets Nichols through. There we go. He had to really wake up early in the morning for that one, didn't he? As the battle rages behind. All 4 of them behind. Battling for 12th. That's Bullion, Schumann, Dizu.
Trying to come back through. Come on. Hold the inside
Whirling
line.
him down the straight is Joshua Birch. But Peter Schumann breaks as late as he can. Dizu almost hits the side. And they just about collected up.
Oh, there we go. Of a few laps ago.
Yeah, that's the Dizu. And Peter Schumann spins out Studniarek.
What are you saying about a repeat of a few laps ago, Nick?
Yeah, that's not. I swear that's not the first time Peter Schumann has sent someone into the barriers in this race. Unfortunately,
I'm pretty sure that's just not going to be the last time Peter Schumann's going to send someone into the barriers. Remember, we call him Indiana Jones for a reason.
Because he always puts his foot in it and then has to escape from a giant boulder.
Yes, don't you remember when he went over the barrier in Marrakesh and just went exploring?
There we go. And I actually think Chris English starting to. The lap times between him and Roy Seifert looking pretty similar. 1:01 for Seifert, 1:0 for Chris English. So, and Luke Mitchell, 59.9, still right behind his teammate. So with the King's Racing cars still fighting tooth and nail for that final spot on the podium.
Nick, sorry, go on, Nick.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, is Chris English actually English? If so, that's a brilliant name.
He does have a Twitch.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, maybe we could check it out with all the other Chris Englishes that have Twitch accounts, no doubt. Many of whom not from England. There's Jack Nichols now in the top 10, battling, that looks like Smaggersgale in front of him for Scuderia Morera and Adam Ziola as well, of course. Nichols up the inside! Oh my goodness me! And he makes it through! That was aggressive overtaking there from Nichols to get into 9th position, and Smaggersgale had no response there. And now he's backed into one of the logistical nightmare cars behind him.
He hit the curb.
There we go. That's Bullion, of course, getting through.
We got through. Yeah, hey.
And Remco Dizu as well as Paul J. Venter pushes past, that looks like Studniarek. And now Smaggersgale down to 12th then, out of the top 10.
I must admit, I am very impressed with Jack Nichols' comeback here as well. Too much so we might have to steal him for next year. just in case. But yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Can we afford him? Is it like he drives for free? Oh, it's Smaggersgale in the gravel then. And I think the 660, there must be some damage or potentially some tyre wear on that Scuderia Morera car as we're in the very closing stages, just under 2 minutes left in the race.
I'm fairly sure as well, knowing Jenny Gow as I do and her love of bourbons, I'm fairly sure we can just lure them away with some biscuits. That might work.
That works for a lot of commentators, funnily enough, to get them to talk about things.
Anyone fancy some touring cars? Careful owners.
Okay. If the people watching the first start will not have come away with that impression. But anyway, Chris English holds on to second place, but Mia Rose 7 seconds up the road. She's almost matched the gap from 10 seconds now. 11 seconds, as you say. So Mia Rose exceeding the gap, 59.7 that last lap. Mia Rose absolutely flying out there. And Vermeulen, I've been very impressed with. He's come from outside the top 10 up to 6th in this race. And he's only about 3.7 seconds behind Louis Hartley then.
I think Benton had an issue. He's dropped quite a few spaces.
Yeah, that's a big shame for Carl Benton. Started second after that brilliant race 1. And just after being forced off track at the beginning, as I had to really watch his race unravel in front of him. But he's not far off the back of Vermeulen, of course. So could make a comeback here. Perhaps he's saving his tyres. But Mitchell looks like currently the second fastest person on track behind Mia Rose, of course.
What I always love about this, I'm just watching the progress of Jack Nicholls as well. I'm remembering Murray's quote, those who can do and those I can't talk about it. Jack can do both, it seems, and that's a worry, because that means there's a glitch in the matrix.
Well, I used to be, before I did commentary, I used to do a lot of Trackmanias. We see, a change of position further down the order. That looked like was that Boolean and Diziu?
Yeah, Diziu got past Boolean. Yes,
another place for Remco Diziu. Yeah, there we go. So Nicholls holding on to ninth, about 0.3 ahead of Diziu, so it looks like it's Hunter Birch versus Kings. Here we go, as Benton trying under attack then from Adam Ziola, I think.
Ziola's made the move,
but the time is running out, so Mia Rose is coming through to win the race any moment now.
Yep,
as this battle continues to rage. At the final corner, it's 2 in a row once again. Mia Rose takes race 2 at the Knutstorp ring. And Chris English will hold on to take 2 podiums in a row for gravel trap racing, holding off the 2 Kings Racing cars. Here's Jack Nicholls.
Remco got through!
He did, and Jack Nicholls is struggling to hold on to that 10th position from Niall Boolean right behind him.
Oh,
and
go on, Jack, hold on.
Gonna get a last dive as they go over the hump. And they're over the hump now.
Hold on for 10th.
And Nicholls willing his car on, and he will hold on as it looked like Schumann was under attack just behind him from, that must be a Wilson, having a last-ditch attempt. But towards the line they go.
Yeah.
Schumann is going to hold on to that 12th position. Wilson will have to be content with 13th then.
What a great race.
Yeah. It was certainly entertaining as they all go off. They're all done with this race. Over goes Peter Schumann. So that's the 3rd accident he's had. And only one of them was after the checkered flag. And the marshal helpfully rights him. So Robot Wars, a little self-righting mechanism on the car. There we go. So I'm assuming the results screen doesn't work.
No.
Okay, right. So as the last few cars, I think, have just crossed the line now in 23rd and last position, Mia Rose takes victory at number 4 this season ahead of Chris English, 11 seconds down then. Roy Seifert finishes 3rd to take another podium for him. Puts his championship challenge back on track after 5th in race 1. Luke Mitchell right behind in 4th. Louis Hartley 5th, 1 place better than he managed in race 1. Jack Vermeulen, a great recovery up to 6th ahead of Adam Ziola, who had a great load of battles here. Kyle Benton disappointed to drop down to 8th. Finishing ahead of Remco Diziu, who was below 20th at one point in this race, recovered up to 9th, beating Jack Nicholls, of course, who had his own recovery, which was impressive in of itself. That's your top 10. Niall Boolean finishes 11th for Logistical Nightmare ahead of Peter Schumann, just ahead of Peter Schumann. Just ahead of Anthony Wilson, I should say. All 3 were very close together. Then it is Gjorvad, 14th, after his spin whilst battling with Louis Hartley. So a big mistake there from Gjorvad. James Smaggersgale finishes 15th after a late drop down the order. Big shame for Smaggersgale, who was doing really well up to that point. Stidney Arek as well finishes 16th ahead of Delhi for Paul Street Boys. Daniel Connor for NL Racing. Paul J. Venter is 19th after another difficult race for Logistical Nightmare Driver. And then Dave Young rounds out the top 20. Mario Valencia, 21st and a lap down ahead of Neil Greening. And Sean Chute rounds out the finishes with Chris Hood and Lee Boolean, your 2 retirements.
So it'll be Shooter on pole, as far as I can work out.
Mia Rose extending that championship lead as well. I believe Chris English may have actually worked himself up to, I think he might be just behind Roy Seifert then. But the gap, the points gap is looking like it's above 10 points, I think, at this point in the Drivers' Championship. The teams will look a little bit more interesting in terms of, I think that's looking slightly more rosy for Kings. But certainly Mia Rose has made some inroads. But who's going to be on pole for race 3 then? Let's remind ourselves.
Shooter.
Yes, it'll be Sean Shooter from Neil Greening, Mario Valencia, Dave Young, and Paul J. Venter. So big opportunity for Paul J. Venter, who we saw was so quick in Fruxton, to make amends. Mia Rose will have to go from the very, very back. We saw her do it at Fruxton from the very back to 6th. Can she get some points here? Because this is the damage limitation round.
Yeah, and now I remember to unmute the microphone. It should be quite good, actually. So I think race 3, reverse grid. Anybody got any predictions on how long we'll get before we have to do another restart?
A corner?
I have
think
faith.
they're straight.
I have faith in these guys. It was weird because the first time we did it, it all went wrong at just before the hairpin at that 90-degree left-hander when Mir got spun around. Second start, they all came together in the S's with Nichols and Dizu. Remco Dizu saying steering wheel was 45 degrees off for the entire race.
See, it's things like this where as you said, I wish we had Dario in the box because Dario would just not let this go with Jack for a long, long time. I love that. So, yeah, we need to get in touch with 3-time Indy 500 winner and 2-time champion Dario Franchitti. Although one thing I do love actually about Jack and Dario's relationship is that if you remember last year, every single session that they were commentating together with, Jack found a different stat to introduce Dario with. And I found it fantastic because it got ridiculous. It came to something like it was the 1982 local kart champion or something or other. Dario Franchitti. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Well,
he must get bored of being called an Indy 500 2-time winner constantly.
I don't think Dario would. Would you get bored if you were getting Indy 500 winner being called that? I don't think I would.
Interesting comment from Stan Gjorvad in the Hunter Burt simulation chat. He says, "On to the race from hell." And I believe of all our drivers, he'll be starting highest up the grid. So that's quite the...
Oh dear.
Yeah. Gjorvad finished 14th. So in the reverse grid, he'll be starting just behind Smagasgale and Studniarek, then on the, I believe, 5th or 6th row.
Okay, everybody, welcome. We've done the
welcome to the melee.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Race 3. I'm just placing bets right now to see who's going to.
Yeah, remember in race 3 at Thruxton, Chris English won after he had a really horrid first 2 races.
Yeah,
then he started I think 2nd or 3rd on the grid for the race 3, and he was able to basically build a gap, hold off Luke Mitchell, and win the whole thing.
Yeah, I look back at those races as well. Luckily, I don't have to do that tonight because I'm commentating on them. But it was an impressive fight back from Chris, and it's nice to see him back up there now constantly.
Yeah, I think gravel trap racing are a real dark. They may only have 2 cars, but they are the real dark horses in this championship at the moment.
Maybe we should discuss
Him
something
and
with
Benton,
Kings. Yeah. Maybe. Well, who do we want? Do we want to be partnered with Kings or gravel? I think gravel would be a more interesting fight.
Well, I think we don't need to, in touring cars at least, we don't really need to talk about partnerships. It's when we get to endurance races where you need like 4 or 5 drivers per lineup.
It might come in handy when at the end of the season when we're fighting for a championship, because I think this could, unless Mia continues her dominance that we keep seeing, it could go to the end of the, could go to the last race.
Yeah, we shall have to see. Certainly, it was very close last season between Mia and Chris Davis and Valente, bringing it all down to the final round. Although I think Liam Rance was also in contention, as was Nick Homewood. Liam Rance couldn't show up, and Nick was helping me with the stream. So
the sacrifices we have to make.
Yes,
indeed.
Nick, did last year's championship eventually count? Because I know there was talk mid-season that we weren't going to score it anymore, but then we started again, didn't we?
Yeah, everyone wanted to finish it.
Yeah, Mia has a role on the Discord server, which is a reigning champion. It's why her name appears in yellow whenever she talks.
6.5 minutes.
Blimey. What do we need to
Mia, about? By the way, saying they were blimey, something like, what was it she said? Well, that was a race. They are really aggressive today, huh?
I think that's the track. There's no room to not be aggressive.
Indeed. Yeah, I think Mia was just glad that the first race got a red flag, the first start, because her being spun around. Well, actually, she was 5th not long after, which shows how crazy that opening start was.
I've just noticed that my radio mic, part of it, has got a little bit of rust on it, and I'm wondering how. But then I remember this garage is not airtight, so it gets very cold.
Mia's there saying, and there's the complaining. So it sounds like somebody, I wonder if it's Kings Esport, might be complaining about Mia being too quick. Or possibly Gravel Trap as well. We'll see.
Where? Who? How? Where do I find this? What's Tontis?
There's lots of talk going on in the general chat.
Probably not all of it fit for public consumption. Let's not air the dirty washing in public.
Smagasgale doesn't seem happy.
Poor James. That's a shame. Like I said, a good start for James, but seemed to unravel somewhat.
Paul Venter says, my new nickname is Ping Pong Paul.
Well, let's see if that lasts into race 3, because he is starting very near the front. Is 5th position is Paul. Mario Valencia, I think, may have actually done the smartest strategy of all, because he wasn't doing too well in race 2 and dropped as far down the back as he could have, I think. I don't think it was deliberate, but I don't think it was deliberate at all, but I think it may actually help him in race 3, essentially. I think he'd much rather just get loads of points from as many rounds as possible. But I have a feeling Knutstorp will probably not be the most popular track when it comes to do the calendar for next season.
That's fine. We got a not kill now.
Yeah,
that's true. We got the official. In fact, the video came out today from Studio 397 showing off the track. Of course, another British touring car mainstay added to the calendar. So
Mount Panorama is going to be insane, isn't it?
Yeah, more used to Australian V8 supercars than touring cars, but certainly that is. Yeah, you're right. That's going to be quite. I'm sure Mia would really want to win that one, because that's essentially a home race in this series. She hasn't had one of those before.
I fear that Anglesey could be a repeat of.
I was just looking at that thinking...
Do we have any Welsh drivers who might be looking forward to Anglesey? I swear we had one.
We've got English, we've got Irish.
Yeah, we do. Who's the Irish guy? Well, I know Levspeed had Thomas Mahue, who was...
Yeah, he was signed up to race today.
Patriotic Irishman.
So what do you call Steve Jones?
The problem is we don't have a nationalities page. Like FSR have a pretty good nationalities page, which usually, if they know the nationality, they mark it down. But I don't think we have one of those. So it's a lot of it. It's either they got the flag on the top of the roof of the car, or it's kind of guesswork. Got to guess what the nationality is from the driving style. So Louis Hartley, very, very quick in qualifying, really likes to hang the rear out at points, so definitely Scottish. Mia Rose, cool, calm, collected, so definitely Australian.
Hang on, cool, calm, collected Australian. Have you not seen what Danny Ricciardo did to Yuki Tsunoda last time out?
Well, yeah, but I think Ricciardo, the honey badger, is more the exception rather than the rule.
To be fair, it was Megan's fault, because literally she was saying, ram into him, ram into Tsunoda, ram into him.
That does not surprise me, given that Megan Birch's previous commentary with us.
She got bored of the Grand Prix, and
I'm not surprised. I think it might be up there, one of the ones we fast forwarded through most of.
Oh god, I was on commentary with Josh and Tom actually joined me for that one, and honestly we struggled to stay awake, and complete contrast when Nick was on in America, and we couldn't breathe for action. Like, it was pretty much like a race 2 we just had of touring cars, but lap after lap after lap.
Yeah. I think it's going to take me a while to recover from that race too, so I'm sort of glad we got this gap before.
Yes, yeah.
I think we are
I'll tell you
about 5 minutes away from the start.
Something like that, yeah.
2 minutes away.
2 minutes, there we go. Less than about half of what I said.
Imagine race 2, but we fed it steroids.
Oh my god, in race 1 they were already on coke, so this is going to be insane. I'll tell you what, Ed, I am looking forward to end of January. Oh no, it's middle of January, isn't it, when we get to do Formula E, because you're not doing Saudi Arabia, but you are doing Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico is the opener.
Mexico, loving that. Great idea to put Mexico as race 1, because they don't anticipate any drivers actually going to survive till Saudi Arabia, because the way Mexico is a destruction derby. And it's Gen 3 as well. I mean, blimey.
Well, there have been all these stories, but they've had to sort of... I know there's been the race... Samsung's put I don't want to say a scare story, but it's certainly a little bit sensationalist, the idea that, if they don't get the fast charging pit stops in, then it's a disaster. I mean, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. If the cars are performing better, then certainly I think what's more concerning is the RSS, the reusable energy storage. Battery issues, and they have apparently found us some solutions. So hopefully we don't see cars that shut down the middle of streets and stuff like that.
I've got a bad feeling that race 1 might be a little bit of a drama in terms of the fact that the battery might do that. But if we do have to have these pit stops for fast charging.
Yeah, the interesting thing is
strategy. Go on.
Porsche have been a bit annoyed, because what Formula E said they wanted to do was change the rules to add the fast charging at like selected rounds in the middle of the season. And Porsche have been like, now we want the same rule set the whole season. I think leaving it to season 10, I don't think it would hurt the product that much at all. I mean, I'd rather wait to get it right rather than rush it out.
I don't want pit stops.
It ends up being like, I don't know, we got attack mode, haven't we? So it's not really the end of the world.
Well, they got rid of fan boost.
Here we go. Okay. Looks like the warm-up is ending. So the grid for race 3 has been finalised, folks. So it should be Sean Schute, starting on pole position, having finished last in race 2. So the interesting part is how long can all the tail end pole sitter hang on to that to that first position, because there's going to be so much competition from behind. We talked about the likes of Valencia, Ping Pong Paul, Full J Venter. I keep calling him a different last name, but here we go. It looks like the lights are about to come off then, and we will get racing then for race 3 here at Knutstorp. And carnage awaits, ladies and gentlemen, as we go into the first corner. Oh, big jump start from the man in third there. That was
Valencia.
Valencia, yes.
Someone's taken a rallycross line. Oh dear.
Oh dear, and they're going 3 wide
again.
the straight, and looks like Neil Greening is going to try and break late on the outside.
Massive contact, red flag this one, wow.
Oh dear, and there's like 60 cars involved in that one, as Remco de Ziel is facing once again the wrong way, and it's Gjorvad, the other one involved in that too. As is one of the, there we go, logistical nightmare cars.
Someone jumping out the back.
Holding on from opposition from Valencia. Greening is in third from Delhi. And Steniarka Luke Mitchell cuts across and right into the side of one of the Finnevons. That must be... that must be Peter Schumann, and Schumann's facing the wrong way.
So many people's got damaged there. There was a Constantino at the start.
And that looks like one of the King's cars just carrying on straight onto the hairpin and taking out.
Red flag again then, because honestly, there was a Constantino on the grid. I'm seeing it again. Massive amounts of drama that halfway down, they just sort of pincered into each other in a V formation. It was just drama.
Also, a penalty for Louis Hart. I think Louis Hartley tried to cut across the track at the hairpin to avoid the carnage and ended up getting a penalty. So let's hope that doesn't affect his race 3.
Yeah, so 4th position goes, Young goes into the wall, and then everyone just smashes into each other. The cameras cut away, and then it was just literally a Belgium 98. So I was completely right. I knew they wouldn't even get to turn 1. It would happen on the straight.
My goodness.
Here we go, attempt 2, Ed.
Yeah, here we go. So let's hope driving standards hold together. 3, 2, 1, and race 3 is underway. Once again, Mario Valencia makes a very, very early getaway, but this time has nowhere to go, and they're all bunching up behind 3 wide over the start-finish line. Schute, Greening, and both going in, and round goes one of the orange cars, and that looks like a Delhi in the wall, and somebody else joining him as well. That's one of the King's cars, I think, in trouble. It's Mia Rose from the very back. She had nowhere to go there, and Mia Rose collects herself, gets in front of James Smagersgale, and begins the fight back. Adam Ziola involved as well, but up front is Schute leading from Valencia, Greening, and Gjorvad in the 175. So Gjorvad from about 8th or 9th on the grid has really made a great comeback. And Valencia trying to go round the outside of Sean Schute, but Schute holds him off in the logistical nightmare car.
This is getting fantastic as well as they all come back down through the middle part of the track. This time, though, we may have had some contact, but it's only affected 21 down. So that's Connor.
And that's one of the King's cars. That was like Mitchell fighting with Stydniarek. Jorvad is up to 4th now as well. Stydniarek actually holds his ground against Luke Mitchell and holds on to that 5th position. And Mitchell's round and hits one of the Finnevant down with Peter Schumann hitting him at the final corner there. That's a really nasty place to be spun around.
Well, they're just hitting everywhere this time around, but great start. You have to say,
and one of the King's cars is Benton. So Luke Mitchell has DNF'd, and Benton has also got involved in the drama there at the start as well. Mia Rose up to 13th already. Let's hope there's not too much damage, because that was what happened in race 3 at Fruxton. The steering on Mia Rose's car was damaged, and is that Jack Nichols right behind her?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, no.
And that's Peter Schumann right in front of her as well. So this is going to be a delicate situation. Mia Rose goes to the outside. But that becomes the inside for the hairpin. Oh my goodness. Wheels up in the air. Mia Rose bumps into the side of Peter Schumann. And Jack is in a sandwich. Nichols has to back out of that one.
Yeah.
Remco de Ziel as well. Also involved in the battle for, that looks like him in 17th, fighting Bouillon behind. But Mia Rose then up to 12th then, and continuing to climb, hoping for more drama ahead that she can avoid. As de Ziel up the inside of, that looked like Bouillon.
Forget the steroids, forget the cocaine. This race is on heroin as they come down towards turn number 1. Everyone's changing fast as that's Valencia. Now Roy Seifert's got it in 6th position as well. And Mia Rose trying to find a line throughout turn 1 if we can see it without the picture bugging out too much. Here we go. And Mia can't find a way through on the inside line.
Yeah, that's Hood, Chris Hood. holding her off. There's yellow in sector 3. Valencia, by the way, has made it for it. Dick Hole's in the wall!
Oh, no,
my
Jack!
goodness, that's another King's Racing car out of running. And there's Gjorvad up to 3rd now, challenging Sean Schute. Valencia has got by Schute, and now it looks like Gjorvad is going to try and follow him through at the outside, but there's no space there. Schute holds his line, and over the jump they go. There's a penalty, it looks like, for Schoonman. Is that Smaggersgale? A penalty! And Gjorvad up the inside! Oh, that was very, very risky from Gjorvad, and wheels all over the grass there. And now the Studniarek is all over the back of them.
Yeah, Jack's out. I'm off.
It's like the Italian fans at Monza and Imola when the Ferraris retire, just like go home early. Oh dear.
Actually, I am going to be off for just a second.
Oh, maybe we can get a mid-race interview. Oh, big lock up there for Schute at the first corner, and Gjorvad is alongside then. Can the Hunter Birch driver get through? There we go, the 175 into second place, and now Studniarek challenging Schute. So Valencia now has got a 2.4 second gap to a Gjorvad. Gjorvad could win this one, Josh. And Nick, if you're still there, you can listen to that too.
What's happening?
There we go, Gjorvad now defending a little bit from Schute.
Mia's up to P10 already.
Yeah, Mia passed Chris Hood then. So it's all kicking off. Mia Rowe's next target, Anthony Wilson, in the other logistical nightmare car. But it is Finn Avant leading Hunter Birch, leading Logistical Nightmare, leading SZ Racing. Roy Seifert as well has recovered up to 5th. He's getting involved now too. As we look at that on screen, Studniarek in the middle of a sandwich here. Schute in front of him, and Roy Seifert behind him. Seifert will be eager not to lose positions on this occasion then. He did hold on in race 2, let's not forget. But with 2 Kings Racing cars out, it's really all down to this man right behind here, isn't it? Seifert to uphold Kings Racing's honour here. And I imagine there'll be a lot of tears after what happened to Luke Mitchell.
And what's happened to Mia?
Whoa, Mia Rose down behind Wilson. There's into the gravel at turn 1. Looks like Mia either made a mistake or was forced wide into the kiddie litter, but she gets going again in 17th position. And could there be some steering damage now on that number 1 car? It's not looking too healthy to me, Nick.
Let's have a look on the onboard.
Whoa. That does not look easy. It's almost at a 45. Well, actually, it's not too bad. Oh, and into the back. That's not going to help it, though. That's, of course, Jack Vermeulen. She's just hit the back of, as Chris Hood is still right in front of the both of them. And it's going to take Mia Rose is going to take some real battling here to get back up front. Gjorvad 2.9 behind Mary Valencia then. So he was 6 tenths slower on that previous lap. Studniarek has got through into 3rd, with Roy Seifert 4th, Schute down to 5th then. So it could be a real big battle for 2nd as Mia Rose up the inside at the final corner then. She's going to try and do a double move here. Vermeulen on the left, and then it is Chris Hood in front of her. Here we go. Oh, actually, no. Vermeulen goes wide into the gravel, and that puts Mia Rose through back into 16th position, and now free to chase after Chris Hood then. So is that Vermeulen in the gravel then? As Yola, we cut back to just fighting with Diziu, and that looks like Louis Hartley involved here as well. And Peter Schumann as well. So Peter Schumann trying to get past, that looks like Wilson and Greening ahead of them. So Wilson and Greening trying to hold on from their high grid positions, and this whole train of cars is over the jump they go. And oh my goodness, how did they not hit each other? But there we go, looks like Greening and Wilson swap positions then, so Anthony Wilson up to 7th then. And oh, here we go, that looks like Schumer going round the outside then. So I think that's Neil Greening in real trouble here. Diziu is going to be next up to challenge. Oh my goodness, look at them go 3 wide into the first corner, and oh, that must be Greening into the gravel then. Down to 12th position he goes. Just my brain trying to struggling to keep up at points. My mouth also struggling. And up the inside of Ziola goes Louis Hartley. That was a very incisive move there from the Scotsman. And now it looks like Remco Diziu fighting with Peter Schumann for that 8th position. Gjorvad now 1.1 behind Mario Valencia. He's really closed this lap. But it is Roy Seifert setting the timing. He's set the best lap so far of the race, 59.8. So Studniarek, Gjorvad, Valencia all right together then in that battle for the lead. As we continue to watch here, that looks like Chris English making a move there, is it? Yeah, it's past Neil Greening into top 12. So certainly with Mia Rose down in 16th, this is a big opportunity. 15th now, as they both, her and Jack Vermeulen have gotten by Chris Hood, so Vermeulen recovered quickly. Anthony Wilson sets a personal best lap of the race as he desperately tries to hold off Peter Schumann. Paul J. Venter still in the top 5, by the way, so certainly looking like he might get a good pile of points for Logistical Nightmare. And now's Gjorvad right behind Mario Valencia. 0.2 is the gap. I think the move is coming, Nick.
Yeah, I think so. Let's have a look.
Yeah, here we go as it rages on here. Valencia now in full defensive mode as looks like Stan Gjorvad now gearing up for another attempt. Studniarek waiting in the wings to take advantage. The win up for grabs here. Over the main straight they go. Valencia is going to try and shift to the middle of the track here and hold the braking zone. Oh, he's going to go back to the outside. He's got the run then to hold off Stan Gjorvad for another lap. They all brake as late as they can into that first corner. Gjorvad under real pressure from Studniarek too. So the Dane is under real pressure here. I think he's Danish, Gjorvad. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Norwegian, I think.
Norwegian, sorry. I was close. It's the right colour flag. But big drama on behind. That looked like something going on behind. I think it was Vermeulen and getting past Greening, and now Rose is surely going to attack too. As here we go, Valencia goes wide, and another opportunity then for Stan Gjorvad to attack. And can he get through? Come on, Stan. Here we go, over the jump they go. Is Stan going to leap to the inside? No, he bides his time then. Through the final sector they go. 7.5 minutes left to go. And can Stan Gjorvad get the run out of the final corner that he needs to get past that Ford Focus Finnevond car with the SZ Racing of Studniarek really looking threatening now as well. And and that's really wide for Gjorvad, and he just about collects himself in front of Studniarek, and that gives Valencia a little bit of breathing room. But we can't take our eyes off this battle, because the more they fight, the more Roy Seifert actually has dropped back a little bit. Last lap 101. Studniarek, all of these guys in the 102s though, so I think Seifert could still get himself into contention here. And look at this, into the hairpin once again. Valencia just hogging the inside, getting as careful around the apex as he dares. But Mario Valencia under huge pressure here, holding on to this victory. And now he has to hold the inside once more over the jump. They're not getting any air at all. That's how slow they're going. And Roy Seifert inexorably closing on all three of them as we see loads of battling on the other side. And second, and Stan Gjorvad spins it at the final corner. Oh my goodness me, what another careless mistake from Gjorvad under pressure. And now it looks like a Studniarek under pressure from Seifert. He got held up there, and Seifert's going to try and go round the outside at turn 1, but is unsuccessful then. So now golden opportunity for SZ Racing and Studniarek. Where on earth has... looks like Remco de Zeeuw is up to 7th now.
Gjorvad's down in 15th.
Oh dear, a horrible error by Stan Gjorvad. Mia Rose up to 12th now. Remco de Zeeuw is fighting with Anthony Wilson, I think, and has just gotten far. Louis Hartley down to 8th. I'm not sure quite what happened there. But it's all been kicking off while we were watching that battle for the lead. And Studniarek now immediately on the tail of Mario Valencia and looking to take that win away from him. So, no, here we go up the inside, and Mario really has to turn across there to make sure there's no opportunity. Big pressure here for Mario, isn't there, Nick? Oh no, he's lost it too! And he just about gets on without losing too much time, but that puts Studniarek in the lead, and now Roy Seifert has, out of nowhere, found himself fighting for victory. Here we go to the outside into turn 1, and Mario Valencia can only watch. That's 2 front runners that have blown it, really. And who knows, maybe Paul J. Ventnor is going to win this one after all. But yeah, that's kind of done Mario Valencia's tyres any good whatsoever. Remco de Zeeuw up to 5th now past Sean Schute, and only about 3.8 behind Paul J. Venter, but there's only about 5 minutes left in the race, aren't there? So if Seifert's going to get through past Studniarek, he needs to do it sharpish. I think de Zeeuw could really get some good points. There he is, just going through the hairpin now, as we see a move further back. That's Mia Rose up to 10th past Vermeulen. So Peter Schumann in more difficulties, then he's dropped behind Chris English. But Certainly the list of retirements from earlier in the race tells its own stories. Oh, is that Chris English trying to go around the outside of that must be Vermeulen, and he's unsuccessful, so the gravel trap racing will have to stay in 12th. 1 second between Seifert and Studniarek in the lead, and I think Seifert's got a really good straight line speed. Here comes Chris English though, trying to get into 11th position, and will Vermeulen hold the inside line? Doesn't look like it. So, oh, there we go. A little bit wide from the Finnevond of Schumann behind. There's Studniarek doing a fantastic job in the lead. We've not seen him this high up the order before. And I think Studniarek has really done well to keep it together, while those around him have made mistakes, as we see Valencia under attack from Paul J. Venter, the man who calls himself Pinball Paul, or whatever it was.
Ping Pong Paul. I think he might have cooked his tyres a bit, Mario.
Yeah, now Diziu only 1.5 behind him and about a second a lap faster. So a Hunderbert simulation car could sneak onto the podium here. But Paul J. Venter has not given up yet. And will certainly regroup and give another go at trying to get past the Spanish flagged Finnevond Ford Focus. Finnevond Ford Focus has a nice ring to it, doesn't it, Nick?
It's a Hyundai.
Oh, it's a oh, there we go. There is a Finnevond Ford Focus, though, isn't there? That's the other team, isn't it? The one that Hartley drives for.
No, he's in
No, it's a Hyundai. No, they're all Hyundais. Yeah, Corolla. That's it. Yes, I'm getting confused there. But here we go. So it is Hyundai versus Toyota Corolla versus Infinity. Focus, versus Infinity. And here we go to Infinity and beyond. Does Remco de Zeeuw fancy a go? As Paul J. Ventner goes around the outside, cuts across, and there we go. Remco de Zeeuw alongside Valencia. It's going to get pushed out wide here at the hairpin too. But Paul J. Venter onto the podium now, as behind it's all kicking off as well between Wilson, Schute, Hartley, and Ziola, as Mia Rose involved as well. But can Venter win this one now? Big gap in front to Seifert, 3.9. Seifert's actually dropped off the back of Studniarek. Igor Studniarek could take a first ever win for SZ Racing. That would be a turn up for the books if he can pull it off. 2 minutes to go. And now it's looking like de Zeeuw is going to have another go at Mario Valencia as Hartley, Wilson, and Schute battle over 6th. And we look at Paul J. Venter, 5.5 behind, so not really closing then on Rory Seifert. But Mario Valencia having to really pull out all the stops to keep Remco de Zeeuw behind. And now de Zeeuw sort of sizing him up at the hairpin, having a look, or having to switch, almost try a switch back there, Nick. There we go. And we can see actually that must be Anthony Wilson who's closed in on the back of them, because Valencia just held de Zeeuw up so much. As we see Chris Hood losing a position to Gjorvad further down. But here comes de Zeeuw. Oh, just being cut across by Valencia. Valencia getting every little bit of life out of his tyres that he can. As there's Mia Rose, who's still somehow in the top 10, and top 8 actually, despite everything that's happened to her in this race. Down the main straight they go, and it looks like Louis Hartley is going to have a go at Wilson up the inside. Oh,
the next lap should be the last lap, I think.
Here we go. So Studniarek doing everything he needs to do to win this one. 5.6 seconds, or more than that actually. It's 5.2 to Seifert, and 5 seconds essentially is the gap in between the top 3. But right down here in the battle for 4th position, it is nip and tuck then. De Zeeuw being lined up then by Louis Hartley around the outside. So Finnevond looking like they're fighting back here. Is there anything that they can do? Mia Rose trying to go around the outside of Wilson. This is getting very, very messy indeed. And they all hold positions. Looks like Hesketh is going to... Hartley, is trying round the outside of his teammate. He's got past De Zeeuw. Can he make it 2 cars in a row? He has. There we go. Brilliant stuff by Louis Hartley, and De Zeeuw now attacking Valencia. As we see yellow in the first sector. Mia Rose under attack then from Adam Ziola. As here we go. Timing about to run out then in the next 10 seconds or so. So this is the final lap then. If you're going to make a move, you got to do it pronto, sharpish, because Igor Studniarek is about to take that first win of his season. And nothing that Roy Seifert sadly can do to get on top of him, as Louis Hartley. De Zeeuw is past then. So, big drama there. That looked like a big trouble for whoever. It must be Valencia dropping to 8th then. So I completely missed that because I was looking at timing screens. But there we go. Oh, Valencia getting a bump from Ziola for good measure there.
What a race.
Real disappointment then. Almost over then. So Stutniarek coming to the timing line now. As that looks like Schumann attacking as well. But here we go then. Stutniarek through the final few corners. 6 seconds to the good. He's going to win. Oh, as Valencia goes all over the gravel there. It's all over for Valencia. He's just going to struggle to finish. There we go. Stutniarek crosses the line to win, which sadly we don't see on stream because of watching all these battles. But Stutniarek takes victory by 6.5 seconds over Roy Seifert. Paul Ventnor takes third, the final spot on the podium from Louis Hartley, who did a brilliant double move there to get past Mario Valencia. Remco Diziu takes fifth, ahead of Mia Rose, who got ahead of Anthony Wilson. At the end. Finished top six to repeat her feat from race 3 at Thruxton. Anthony Wilson finishes 7th, ahead of Adam Ziola. Chris English 9th, and Sean Schute, despite starting high up the grid, was only able to just hold on ahead of Valencia for that 10th position.
Well, I've got to dash away because something urgent's come up as well.
Sure thing.
But what a race. I was watching and listening to you both commentary when I was just doing something. Great race for Mia Rose to come back up to 6th, matching her performance at Thruxton. Disappointment as well for Jack Nichols as well, because he shone in race 2, shone in race 1, got involved in the accident in race 3. That put him out.
Big shame for Luke Mitchell as well, and just King's Racing in general.
Yeah. But 2 of them out as well. We lost a couple of them throughout the weekend, but to be fair, great drive, I think, for SZ Racing CT6 and getting in the front. But Roy Seifert as well, consistent this weekend. This is going to be a great year. Right, I'll hand over back to you guys. I'll see you all next time.
The rest of the finishing order then, behind Mario Valencia in 11th is Jack Vermeulen. So disappointing in the end for logistical nightmare racing. There was Stan Gjorvad, who, let's be honest, spun out and blew a possible podium there. He finishes 13th in the end. Peter Schumann 14th, Nara Bullion 15th, Sazbolk Zerdeli 16th, Dave Young 17th, and Lee Bullion 18th and last, with a long list of retirements here. Neil Greening, James Smaggersgale, Jack Nichols, of course, Daniel Connor, Luke Mitchell, Carl Benton, and Chris Hood, all failing to finish. But up front, Stutniarek, he'll be absolutely delighted with that. He had a fantastic race through, Nick.
He did.
So all that remains now is interviews, isn't it? Should we? I know Mir has been having a lot of trouble, so we could probably get Stutniarek in and congratulate him immediately for his race 3 victory, shall we?
Sure.
There's no point asking because by the time I've asked, he'll probably have left. So let's hope Stutniarek knows English. Well, fingers crossed. All right, we are joined now by the driver of the SZ Racing car. Number 66, which is Igor Stutniarek, winner of race 3 here at Knutstorp. So, Igor, are you there? Congratulations, Igor.
Yeah, thanks. So sorry to Stuart and Alessandro. That's probably my fault. I just bumped them.
It wasn't Alessandro, it was Remco Diziu. Car. But it was Alessandro's livery, so I can understand you making that mistake.
Okay. Sorry. I think that's my fault. Yeah. Happy. That's my first win ever. Yeah. So I'm happy.
Yeah, Factor 2. Wow, that is impressive. You've been quietly you've been a bit of a dark horse all season, sort of hanging around in the lower ends of the top 10. But that reverse grid race, everything felt your way. There was that big battle with. I think it was Stan Gjorvad in the Hunter Birch car and then Mario Valencia. And once Gjorvad spun in front of you, it was a case of just getting past Valencia and pulling away from Roy Seifert in the end. So you managed that superbly, didn't you, Igor?
Yeah, pace was very good today. That's not my favorite track, to be honest. But yeah, I'm happy.
Do you think this is the beginning of a championship charge then, Igor?
I don't think we can have like championship pace to the end of the season.
Okay, well, fingers crossed then. There's more wins though, at least for SZ Racing for you, and of course your teammate Adam Ziola as well, who had a few pretty decent races of his own as well. So.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, right. Okay, let's see if anyone else wants to talk to us. There's 3 people in the waiting room, Nick. Shall we let them all in, or will that get too chaotic? Shall we?
May as well.
Right, okay. Let's open up the floodgates then to these three. So we got James Smaggers-Gale from the what's the team called? Scuderia Moreria Iris, essentially. We have Louis Hartley from Finavon Motorsport and Mario Valencia from Finavon Motorsport. So who wants to go first?
I think a lot of us are just here to complain anyway.
Everyone, even the people who win, seem to complain. So Ego sounded like, it's not my favourite track. It's just like, we got lucky and it was not my favourite track. Well, to be fair, he did a very good job in that race through. But Louis, you sounded the most talkative there. So shall we talk to you first? So it was top sixes in race, top six in race 1, fifth in race 2. And then a bit chaotic towards the end, but there was a great double move at the end of race 3. So overall, some decent points on the board there.
Yeah, it's a shame I ended up dropping back so far in the first race because I was looking forward to it with the pole, but got a bad start off the line. I think I was in like 4th or something by the end of the first lap, and then the tyres just died and I kept dropping back.
Yeah, keeping the tyres alive was a big ask for, especially a lot of these front-wheel drive cars. You could tell, especially some of the was really, really struggling, and in all 3 races, really. And I think there's some people who tried to do the soft tyres in race 1 and really struggled.
Oh yeah, that's a mistake. I was on the hards, so I wouldn't go near the fronts for anything but 1 lap in qualifying.
But certainly, you doing better this time means you'll have more ballast next time out at Croft in Yorkshire, of course. Are you looking forward to Croft? Do you think you can start to get closer to the podium? Or do you think if you can just keep nabbing those top 4s, top 5s, the consistency will win the championship in the end of the day?
Well, I'm hoping for a podium. To be honest, the car seems to drive better with ballast, so not actually that
Mia Rose will probably attest to that.
Well, I'm not in Infinity, so she can cry about it.
I don't think she's crying too much after 2 wins and a 6th place once more.
Yeah, it's not turned out for her, is it?
No, not at all. It's a shame she's not around for us to interview. But anyway, thanks for talking to us, Louis, and best of luck next time out at Croft. And as always, a very impressive double move. We really it was one of my drivers you overtook, unfortunately. Remco does you, but you and Mario handled that beautifully. And speaking of Mario, shall we go to you next if you're okay with that, Mario? Happy birthday. I know it didn't end the way you probably would have wanted to, but for a lot of race 3, it was looking very, very good. There was another great qualifying before race 1 as well. So talk us through all 3.
Well, on the first race, I was starting P5, so at first I didn't think I had a lot of pace, but then I started to think, well, maybe I do. But after a good start, I started having a lot of wear, and I started to dropping down. Then I finished, I think, like P11, P12, just very bad. So I started in that position race 2, and I got damaged, I crashed, and I said, well, I'm gonna be very slow, but at least I'm gonna start more to the front on race 3. I start more to the front, get better start, everything. But then the tire wear kicks in, and my time start going very, very bad, and I lost everything. Also, everything started because one guy, I don't remember the name, I think it was a white car. He just
Gjorvad.
Maybe.
It was Stian Gjorvad, wasn't it? One of my drivers.
On the last corner, man.
Yeah, he spun himself around, didn't he?
I don't think so, because he stayed in P1. Like, he was P3 while I was P1, and he spun around the guy in P2, and then he spun around me. So
it might have been Igor Staniarek who won in the end.
That one. Yeah, what a dumbass.
There might be some report. Igor didn't sound overjoyed after winning. He said, it's not my favourite track.
Did he win?
He did, yes.
Man, what a...
He held off Roy Seifert in the end. I'm sure Roy was trying his best.
Like, I'm sorry, but...
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's always Stuart's reports to be filed, but there wasn't any after Thruxton. This might be a bit different after all the chaos.
I'm very salty, but I was trying to hold it up because I was very slow. I think he was in an Infinity.
Yeah, you were in the 102s, weren't you, for a lot of that race, weren't you?
I'm more. I was very slow. I was trying to hold it up, and then he did that move that you don't really expect that on the final corner. It's not a realistic move. But he just did it, and he spun around.
I apologize because on my sort of slightly pixelated stream, I said that you'd spun out, and I didn't say that Igor had spun you out. So I apologize for not making the distinction at the time. But that's anyway. Bad luck though, but certainly the qualifying pace is still there, and you got to feel that there's still some hope going into Croft next time out, Mario.
Yeah, but I would have to do something with the tire wear. Actually, in Croft, when is it? Like what date?
About 2 weeks away.
Yeah, 2 weeks today.
17th November.
I don't think I can make it because I have an exam the day after it.
Okay. Well, certainly, Mario, on your birthday, you put in a great qualifying performance.
Yeah,
and your defense, before the tyres went off, was superb. It was really brilliant to watch you and Stian go toe-to-toe, and for a while with Igor before he punted you around. But we won't talk about that anymore.
I did what I could.
Yeah. Anyway, now with joining us, who's been waiting very, very patiently, is James Smaggersgale, of course, regular commentator, driver, of course, for Scuderia Moreria Iris. And James, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So race 2 looked quite good for a while. You made a really, really good start and were defending, and then I think that tyre wear came into play at the end because we just saw you go off into the gravel. So I know disappointment, but certainly for a first go at touring cars, not too bad. Some good pace in there.
Yeah, not too bad. I think it was sort of the lack of learning the tyre wear sort of came back to bite me because I sort of found a decent pace. But yeah, now the tyre wear came in at the end. I was fuming because I was so confused what was going on. I hadn't clocked it was obviously I worked it out eventually, but I couldn't turn into any corners. It was just all going horribly wrong. I kept getting just like shoved out of the way, which wasn't fun. And then because I had no tyre wear, you try and shove people back out of the way. I can't catch up, so that wasn't fun. But the pace was all right. It could have been worse. I was decently happy with qualifying as 15th, I think, considering I wasn't expecting to be anywhere near that. That's actually not too bad.
Yeah, and certainly a good place for Scuderia Moreria, you yourself, Chris Hood, and Louis Hesketh to build up from. Yeah, I might have accidentally called Louis Hartley Louis Hesketh a few times. I apologise for that.
I saw it coming.
But you just sort of, you open your mouth and something comes out. That's commentary for you. But anyway, James, are you looking forward to Croft then? Do you think Scuderia Moreria can certainly battle for top 10s a bit more consistently there? As long as you can get on top of that tyre wear, of course.
Yeah, hopefully. And get on top of the car, to be fair. It was... even the hairpin today was almost impossible at times to get around. I think my FOV didn't help. I couldn't see half the track at times. But I think we can come back stronger. I mean, we had quite unfortunate. I think Louis didn't do any of the races because he kept disconnecting.
Unfortunate for him. Although
I'm correct on that.
he was one of our drivers, and you guys had made a bold attempt to steal him, and he just said, "I'm off." He didn't tell me he was thinking of leaving. He just said, "I'm off." Bye.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough, because we nick most of Iris's drivers, so it's only fair they do the return. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe you'll be driving for us one day, James. We'll see. But anyway, I was certainly impressed today, and it was just a shame that the tyre wear sort of went away from me there. But anyway, who knows? Maybe. Well, I hope to hear more from you in the future, certainly, even if the races don't always go to plan. But it's always entertaining to talk to you, James.
Yeah, winning next round. I'm winning the next round.
Hey, race 3, anything can happen, as we saw today. Anyway, let's see if we can get the Hunter Birch simulation guys in and see if they've A, if they're still around, B, if they've got anything to say to us. I think that'll be the last ones, unless Connor from NL Racing wants to talk to us. But anyway, joining us now is Remco de Zoo and Stan Gorvad from Hunter Birch Simulation. Stan, are you there?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
That's good.
So, very dramatic 3 races for you, I think it's fair to say. With the final race, the big opportunity, unfortunately, a bit of a tap from Igor behind, I believe. And so, unfortunately, you found yourself spun around and not getting the result you would have hoped for. But certainly, there were some great moments, though, for you across all 3 races here at Knutstorp.
I mean, it's not my brightest moment in sim racing. I can say that at least. But I think it's just I've never been up on the front in a race. And both times I spun throughout race 2 and race 3 was at the front. So I think I need to work on my nerves, to be honest.
Wow.
But for the Igor crash, or like I'm not sure what happened. I haven't checked the replay.
Yeah, Mario was pretty adamant that he got spun around by Igor a few laps later as well. So
I listened to the interview. I was thinking I was making a mistake because, yeah, as I said, my weekend, like my first hasn't been that good. But after what Mario said, I'll definitely have a look at it again. But yeah, I felt like Igor is fast, but it was a bit aggressive.
Everyone was a bit aggressive today.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, that he was pushing the inside on the last corner. That's at least what I remember. But I think I turned in on him. I'll have another look. I can't say too much.
Fair enough. Well, we won't file that steward report just yet then.
No, I think I need some few more eyes on that one.
But anyway, Stan, your pace was actually pretty solid. So I think for a first weekend with us, I don't think that was too bad. And you banked some pretty decent points in race 1, if I remember correctly. So all is not lost. I'm sure we'll see you back in the car for Croft and better than ever. So thanks for driving for us, Stan, because I know it was all chaotic getting that car into the race in the first place, and also all the mumble issues. I know it's been a bit of a hassle, so thanks for joining us on your phone.
My pleasure.
Okay, and I believe Remco, are you around and available to talk to us?
Yeah, sure.
Well, okay, so you also had 3 pretty eventful races where you just clawed through the field, and it was very impressive to watch. Somehow, if I remember correctly, you used the soft tyres in race 1, was somehow able to get into 4th, which I thought was very impressive. And then races 2 and 3, I think you sort of almost repeated the feat. I think 5th and 6th, if I remember correctly.
I think I finished 5th in the final race, yeah. And the second race was P9, I think, but I got spun around at the beginning, so yeah. Yeah, it major damage. My steering wheel was like off by 45 degrees the entire race. So.
Yeah, some of the overtakes looked a little bit like people weren't giving you a whole lot of room, but
yeah, true. It was kind of a mess in race 2 and 3, but I enjoyed it.
So, are you hoping that Alessandro Valente's internet goes down more often, because we might have to call upon you? Since Kings seem to have got Jack Nichols, who seems pretty quick, so they don't need you anymore, it would seem.
It's a bit of a double feeling, to be honest, because I promised to drive for Kings, and Jack told me, like, if you're up for it, I can take the seat, because he knew that I didn't have much time to practice. So I took the offer, and then last minute Hunter Birch called me and said, we need something. We need someone. Do you wanna?
Yeah, it was very last minute from me.
Yeah,
I must apologise for that, because I didn't know until the day before the race. There was all this stuff going on. But anyway, we got there in the end. And if that's you with no practice, I'd love to see you with more practice under your belt. I'm sure you could. But anyway, there's some really, really impressive results and overtakes there as well. A little annoying that Mr. Hartley over here did that double overtake on you and Mario at the very end of race 3. But you got to give credit where it's due.
Washed.
Just got to keep mentioning it every chance. I don't know why I keep mentioning it, because it makes my driver look bad. But anyway, Remco, thanks so much for doing it at the last minute, and I hope it might actually give you a chance at the championship if we keep putting you in these top 2 cars. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So, but certainly some great performances.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for talking to us as well. To all of you, by the way, if you're still here. So, Nick, any final thoughts before we sign off from Knutstorp in Sweden and go back to the good old U of K?
Oh, well, it can't be any worse, can it?
Oh, don't be so pessimistic. The people were entertained, and that's what really matters. Even if some of them didn't got crashed out in race 3 somewhat unfairly.
Yeah, well, that's kind of race 3, isn't it? But I have
it is, yeah.
Busy on the reports after that.
Yeah, I think Mia was pretty adamant that she wanted a. I just got a weird message from something completely different that threw me off there. It was from Arda Urchan, who said, "You're the first commentator I've seen that's pronounced my name somewhat correctly." Thanks, I guess, from the FSR highlights I did today. Well, that's because Roberto Pignataro has basically been on my case about mispronouncing corner names and driver names. Anyway, that's completely irrelevant. So thank you very much to Nick for helping me run the broadcast, to Joshua for helping us in commentary, to all the drivers and teams for putting on such a fantastic show, and to the audience as well for tuning in tune in on the 17th of November for more racing action at Croft. But if you can't wait that long, we have got Formula E, not from Santiago, but from Seoul in South Korea for the fifth round of the championship. Is it the fifth round or the fourth? It's the fifth round, isn't it? Because New York got cancelled.
Well, technically, yeah.
Yeah, it's technically the sixth round because New York got cancelled. But anyway, I don't know what the numbering there is all off. It doesn't really matter. But that is on next Wednesday, isn't it? If I remember correctly, which is the. Oh, let me just have a look. It's the 9th of November, of course. So feel free to join us there if you're not busy with all your Remembrance Day preparations or whatever you got going on. But with that said, 2 wins for Mia Rose and provisionally a win for Igor Studniarek, but we'll have to see how many steward reports that Mario and myself end up filing against him. But it would feel a bit underhand to congratulate him for the victory and then file loads of stewards reports. But we'll check the replays, we'll see. And that's all really from Knutstorp, so we'll update you on the standings when they get finalised. But tune in next time for Croft for more superb, frantic touring car action. It's wild, it's crazy, and that seems to be the way it's here to stay. So we've got to learn to love it, guys, even if it catches us out now and again. But thanks very much for watching. Bye for now, and see you soon.